Right, so I'm just waiting for Spoony, guys. Hello, Vanessa. Yeah, just wondering where Spoony is. We'll start talking once he gets here. I know it seems a little boring right now. You guys are just watching me. Whoever's watching is just watching me stare at a camera. Like I said, I'm just waiting for Spoony. There he is. There is Spoony's here, guys. Spoony's here. He's here now.
Oh, we live already?
Oh yeah, we're live, man. It's all right. It's all right. It's all right. You kept everybody waiting. Not that
Yeah.
not that there's many people watching.
Well, you got to be fashionably late.
I know, right? I know.
So what's going on? You're talking about the books that are coming out tomorrow, or at least the Free Comic Book Day 2025, depending on when people are watching this.
Yeah, exactly. It could be like 5 years from now if they're watching. Yeah, today I thought we'd talk about, a little bit about Free Comic Book Day, what we're looking for, Free Comic Book Day in general. The elephant in the room, too. The big fucking issue that everyone's talking about is Diamond Distribution.
Yep.
With their first chapter 11, now they're possibly chapter 7.
Oof.
So, talking a little bit about that and how possibly Free Comic Book Day is that's going to continue in the future or not. And
well, Diamond had like a stranglehold on the industry for decades, so
It did, yeah.
It makes sense that these publishers are just doing their own thing now.
Yeah.
I mean, with the internet and stuff like that, you can market directly to the customers. You don't need like a Diamond Comics previews or whatever that thing was called. I used to love looking through them, but yeah, it was kind of crappy that you were forced to go through this one company for everything.
Exactly, and I mean, I don't think you go out to the. I'm not sure if you go to your shop regularly. I know that you mainly buy the collected stuff, but as somebody who goes to the shop regularly, I don't know how it's going to affect my shop, especially the fact that like I said, when it comes to Canada, I'm at the bottom of the barrel. Like I'm in Quebec, so I don't know how hard it's going to affect the Quebec comic book shops. You know what I mean? Like
that something that's always bothered me is so much of this stuff is printed in Canada, actually in Quebec.
Yeah.
And then they ship it to the US and then they ship it back to us at a higher cover. Like the way they do that, their distribution network or whatever, it's stupid. We pay more for it when it's made in our own backyard.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's literally.
Crazy. Yeah. I could not agree more, because I like to use Todd McFarlane, for example, right? Here's another one. Todd McFarlane with McFarlane Toys. Todd McFarlane's Canadian. Mm-hmm. Again, he lives in the United States, but don't you think you'd want to cater to both? I don't know, man. I really don't know. Like I love watching the review spot, and I was looking at some of his merchandise online. Mm-hmm. I was just looking to get myself a coffee mug of the review spot because I love to collect coffee mugs. And I get it. Sometimes it's easy. It's like easier and more cost effective to do in the United States. But he's solely based in Canada, and I respect him so much. But it gets a little more costly for us here in Canada. So I don't know. Comic book prices too are going up, and like you said, it's affecting us here too, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of one of the reasons I switched to collections only, is because you do kind of save some money a little bit, even though you might have to wait a year or more to get what you're looking for.
Yeah.
But I want stuff that's on the shelf that I can pick up, that I can read sort of as like a volume. I don't want to have to go rifling through singles, and there's not really a great way to store them. You got to put them in the boxes, the long boxes or whatever. And
yeah.
I just want something that's easier to read.
That's fair. I mean, I'm the kind of person where I get what you're saying. Like I appreciate what you're saying there. Me and the hands, like I don't know if I want to dive into a full story. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, so I'd rather buy the individual copy. But I only get Ninja Turtles on my list. Like if you guys like, I don't know if you watch my video, my comic book haul videos, or if anybody watches them for that fact, but I mainly get Ninja Turtles, and I'll get some random stuff sprinkled here and there. I'll get Hack Slash, but I had to take Spawn off the pull because there was too much, and Spawn's just, I don't know, it's dumb now again. But I find the prices are getting pretty bad. It's so, maybe collected editions are probably the best route to go going forward. You know, $20 for a collected edition versus $6 for a single issue, $5 for a single issue. You know what I mean?
But again, you got to wait months after the story's done. So if you really want to kind of be up to date, if you're really excited about a particular title, like you got to wait on that. So that sucks. And then there's the fact that they don't always collect every single issue.
Yeah,
like
that's true.
Maybe there was a fill-in issue by a guest writer or artist, and they decided not to include it in the volume. It sucks to have a gap. It sucks to have a book that says like issues 1 through 4, and then 6 through 7 or whatever. And it's like, where's issue 5? Well, that's part of some other Batman tie-in. So
that's it. That's how they get you. Like that was my thing with the whole the Dark Knight's Metal. That was my whole thing, man. Dark Knight's Metal, it was okay, I got the core story, like I got everything. Oh, but no. You got to get this book. You got to get this book. So like...
I think I actually just got done reading that. I bought all the trades, and then I read them in the sort of mapped out order that people said, because even in the comics, it says read the, read Dark Knight's Metal #2 before you read this one or something, because anyways, the only stuff that in that event I thought was really good was they had, I forget what it was called, Dark Knight's Rising. They had an issue for each of the different Nightmare Batman that shows how he became that way. Like how he stole the Flash's powers. He like strapped him into this machine and drained it against his will. About how he like took out Superman, how he took out Green Lantern in order to become these like nightmare versions.
Yeah.
Like for Superman, he took some kind of serum or something that basically turned him into a version of Doomsday. So he was able to kill Superman and, you know, try to use this to save his world. So the Nightmare Batman, the little one-off specials for each one, they were really cool. But I thought everything else around that event, like there was, I think Green Arrow and some other characters were doing some stuff. And it was cool, but not essential in any way.
Yeah. No, I agree. It was the same thing with Death Metal. Like, honestly, the only one that I really want to go out of my way to kind of get is Speed Metal. We've spoken a lot. You know, I love the Flash. So I do want to get that Speed Metal issue, but it's not stuff that really tie in. Like the whole introduction of the Robin King, you have to get Legends of the Dark Knights or Legends of the Dark Knight, whatever it's called, for that one little tiny issue of a whole bunch of little stories inside that book just for the Robin King. And I'm not going to lie to you, I read the book, and the introduction of Robin King wasn't as it wasn't as awesome as I thought it was going to be. Right, I was like, oh, okay, that was kind of lackluster.
Yeah.
And even the other stories were kind of like, I have to sit through all this bullshit just to get here. You get like what, a T-Rex Batman. Like,
yeah.
What the fuck am I reading right now, man?
Oh, you just throw all these ideas out there and some of them stick.
I know. All right, speaking about ideas, is there something I want to talk about a little bit before we get into all our good stuff today? Spoony.
Yeah.
Let's start with and let's make the announcement. I guess if anybody's watching this, or if anybody watches this later on, I guess we're gonna do our live stream once a month going forward, right? We're gonna try to do that once a month. Looking forward to that. I think I love doing the videos on the channel, and you know, it's fun. But I was talking to Vanessa the other day. I was like, I think it's the first time that I'm in a while that I'm really excited again about the channel is the fact that we get to do this now. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So,
well, I think it's cool, and I think it's in a different way from creating other videos. Like, I enjoy making videos and stuff, but sometimes it's difficult for whatever reason to do different aspects of it, or you know, there's other stuff that gets in the way. But I don't know. This is a little more candid, a little more casual, so it's easier to do this type of stuff. There's no reason I couldn't say, or you couldn't, we couldn't do like reviews or whatever on a live stream.
That's it. And I know the big thing that you were talking about when we did the, I had a blast doing that, by the way, when we did the Turtles marathon in January.
Yeah.
And then you asked me, have you ever seen Justice League, the pilot? I was like, oh, I think that could be a fun live stream to do, because I've never seen it. Maybe to watch that.
It's... I don't know what to say about it. I think if anybody watching this has seen it or at least heard of it, it wasn't good. And it was based off a weird version of the Justice League.
Yeah.
Like when they rebooted the DC universe in the mid '80s, the Justice League that came out right after is more like a humorous book. You had like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, which were like a comedy team. They're always getting into like wacky adventures on the side. Their Green Lantern was Guy Gardner, and there's the infamous One Punch from the first issue, where he's mouthing off to Batman, and Batman just socks him one, and Guy Gardner's like completely unconscious. And actually, that led to a kind of slight storyline where I think that was the thing that caused Guy Gardner some brain damage. So he started acting really nice and sweet to everybody instead of being a jerk. And that's actually how he fell in love with the character Ice. And so her death became a big turning point for the character. And But yeah, the whole thing is that Batman just socks him, and everybody's like, "One punch! You knocked him out in one punch."
Yeah, and I remember seeing like pictures of that and the costumes. First things first, the costumes look like, I don't even remember Goosebumps, that episode, Attack of the Mutant. I feel like the masks looked like that. It was bad, and you had the freaking Crypt Keeper playing. I think it was Ray Palmer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Why are you choosing that guy to play the Atom, dude?
No, it was a weird version of the Justice League to do. They filmed it. I don't know. At some point, we'll get into it, and then people will see what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest with you, though, as much as that's bad, I think Marvel definitely takes the cake for the worst bullshit TV shows they've ever made, like Nightman and Mutant X and with the one you sent me. You sent me a poster.
Yeah,
of
Generation X.
Generation X. I think Marvel takes the cake on so many failed live action adaptations. DC has like dabbled. Like, I mean, like we've spoken about, the Superman TV shows. I mean, Lois and Clark was bad, in my opinion, but it's nowhere near the level of those bad Marvel shows,
Well, and Marvel, I think they made some bad decisions even with the animated stuff. They had a show called Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes. It ran for like 2 seasons or something. It was really good. It was just kind of like characters and storylines from the comics. It was very like approachable, but if you were like a comic book fan, there's definitely a lot of stuff to enjoy. But this was in like 2010 or 2011. And so what ended up happening was that the success of the Avengers movie meant that they canceled Earth's Mightiest Heroes and came out with, I think it was just called Avengers Assemble. And it was very much modeled after the movies. It's the same character lineup as the films. It was the same, like the same style, the uniforms and outfits and everything like that. And I get it. They wanted some kind of synergy between the two brands. But at the same time, it's like, that was a really good show. I don't know why they couldn't have just had 2 shows running side by side. Or is that too confusing, having 2 Avengers shows on at once?
Probably. I don't know what happened to my virtual backdrop. Do you see it?
No. I just see all the figures and stuff.
Oh, I don't know what's going on right now. What happened to my backdrop?
Well, I mean, it's not super important. It's just for the theme, right? Like, if people can't tell because, I don't know, I tried to pick an image that wasn't too, like, detailed. But this is the Fortress of Solitude from the Christopher Reeve Superman movies. I don't know which one this image is from, but it's that, yeah.
I don't know if I can get it back or not. I don't know why. But if I can get it back, I mean, hey, we got to see it for the first 20 minutes already of the stream.
Yeah. And obviously it was a back cave. You could see the T-Rex, and I think that Penny was in there somewhere.
Yeah, it was up there. It was up there. That's why I was like, that was pretty cool, because I wanted to get everything. Like, for me, whenever I see the Batcave, it's like, yeah, you got the computer, you got all the Batmobiles, but there's always that damn giant coin. There's that damn mechanical T-Rex. And I was like, gotta have that, but I don't know why. Don't know why it is not allowing me to put this back in. It really sucks, man. Oh well. This is still a learning process when it comes to the. It's still a learning process when it comes to the StreamYard thing. So.
Well, and there's so many different options, right? Like, StreamYard seems good for now, but I mean, I know a lot of people talk about OBS, but I know that's really more involved in terms of like, it's good because it's customizable, but you need to kind of know about all the different things you want to have in it.
Yeah,
this is a lot easier in terms of, say, throwing in a background, or, well, not right now, but like little overlays or whatever.
Yeah, honestly, I don't mind showing the backdrop, because like what you see in the majority of my videos, like,
yeah,
I think since I've started my channel 8 years ago, I think I've gone through 4 or 5. I'm like my fourth or fifth different backdrop now, and this shit is crazy because I've been living here for like 6 months now,
Yeah.
and I still haven't organized this shit, man. I don't know what's going on.
Hey,
All the master
if you
stuff.
didn't say that, I don't think people would have noticed. Just looks like a collection.
Yeah, exactly. I got that one piece of wrestling back there with the Bullet Club. Like, I'm eclectic, guys. I'm eclectic. All right.
Okay.
I was going to say, though, OBS, though, when I do my gameplay videos, I do use OBS for that because that's what comes installed with the capture card. So, I mean, we can always try to figure that out, but I like StreamYard. I mean, I don't want to. No offense. I know a lot of people, like, this is the big thing that people used to go live. But I don't want to start paying $35 to $70 a month just so we can add a backdrop instead of these blue waves back here. And like, this is fine to me, like, to be quite honest with you. So, yep. All right, Spoony. So before we get into the conversations, I was going to ask, what have you read lately? What have you taken a look at? What have you picked up recently?
Okay, well, I have been reading through a lot of New 52 stuff because I've gotten so much of it from the dollar store. It's been great. So I read through the Scott Snyder Batman a few months ago, and then I read through the Batman and Robin by Peter Tomasi.
Okay.
Which was good. The scenes with the two, Batman and Robin, the father and son, because this is a kid that was trained to be an assassin. So Batman's constantly got to like remind him, like, no, we don't kill this guy. Read Wonder Woman, which was really good. And then
Zarello's one, right?
Yeah.
That's
really very, very good. It's self-contained. It doesn't cross over to any other events. The only other non-Wonder Woman character that comes in is Orion from the New Gods, from the Jack Kirby's Fourth World, Dark Side, and all that stuff. Because he is a god as well, from a different like pantheon or whatever. But he's like, we're gods. We need to stick together. I'll help you fight this battle. Really good story, great art. Yeah, that's definitely one of the highlights besides Batman. Anyways, I was trying to get to, I read the most recent thing was the All-Star Batman by Scott Snyder, where it's I think it's about 14, 15 issues. It's just him with other big name artists telling Batman stories. Kind of follows up on his run, just without Greg Capullo in it. I know he uses Jock for some of it. Francesco Francavilla. It's a lot of people he's worked with before, like when he was doing Detective Comics before they rebooted New 52. And I think John Romita Jr. does like a storyline with Two-Face. It's just more Snyder Batman stuff, and it's good. I don't know if a plot element in it gets followed up on in any other books, but it was enjoyable.
Okay. I was turned off by the All-Star Batman because I know when Frank Miller and Jim Lee were doing their initial
this is
I'm the goddamn Batman thing, man.
Yeah, this is in name only. God, and not just that, but when they're fighting Green Lantern, Batman paints himself and Robin in the entire room yellow. So, and they lure Green Lantern in there, so they literally he can't do anything to them.
So is Snyder channeling the 66 Batman type thing?
No. But when they say All-Star Batman, they mean like a big writer and a rotating cast of big name artists. It has nothing to do with which is weird because Grant Morrison put out All-Star Superman at the time, and that was really good. I'm actually I'm reading through that in the DC Compact format because it's got Frank Quitely on the art, and if you guys know his art, it's very like detailed. So I wanted to see how would this translate into the smaller format. Like,
Yeah.
are you going to lose some of the quality because you're having to reduce the image size? This wasn't originally how it was designed to be presented. And I think it holds up. Now, the story is also very strong, so that helps. But
Nice.
I think the format's great, and I definitely want to talk about that more in the future, whether it be on a stream here or on my
Yeah.
own channel. I think the format's a great idea. Just make manga-sized book, charge less for them, and I think they're going to sell well.
I mean, I guess we could talk about it later on too, because we're going to talk about what things we're looking for. I mean, tomorrow, but in general too, right? So talk about that too. I mean, that you were telling me that before, and I was like, that looks insane. I remember I saw it at Indigo. Again, we have one viewer, and I'm assuming that's probably Vanessa Dance. But Indigo's in Canada. For those watching later on, it's the bookstore in Canada. And I believe I saw the Watchmen size one there. So it's really cool that they're charging the cheap prices on those ones.
Yeah, it's $9.99 American or $13.50 Canadian, which is a fantastic deal.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Right now all the books are at that price. We kind of talked about, I wouldn't be surprised if they get people hooked on this, and then they jack the price by a couple bucks in the future. But even if this is like $15 to $20, I still think it's a good value, because I mean, a full-size reprinting of Watchmen is probably like $30 just for a soft cover. God help you if you want hardcover or absolute format.
I've gone through all the fucking editions in the past. I've gone through all of them, and yes, they're expensive, Watchmen, dude. So
so to get one for $15-20, that's pretty good, and it's easy to stick in a backpack or a purse or something. I think more people will be inclined to read it, because I think that's one of the things that people like about all the manga stuff, is that it's very portable sized.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean,
I know. Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, I know, for example, my wife loves to read Wonder Woman, so if ever they come out with that, I mean, ever she wants to go somewhere, like you said, pocket size, put it in the damn backpack and go. That'd be pretty cool. So.
And what's cool about it is that they're doing all types of genres. Right now, I think there's like maybe 5 or 6 genres that they're pushing. So they've got horror, which the first one out is Scott Snyder's American Vampire. I literally just received that in the mail today before Free Comic Book Day. They've got, I think it's called Crime. And that's the Ed Brubaker Catwoman of East End. There's like science fiction, I think, is the Green Lantern Far Sector, which I hear is amazing. And then like one of the Superman books is like action adventure. Oh, All-Star Superman is like action adventure. So there's different genres they want to kind of focus on. I got the American Vampire because I do want to read the series, but also I kind of want to support the horror direction. I want them to really, God, I would love it if you could get, say, Alan Moore's Swamp Thing and tiny size things and not have to pay like $150 to get the whole set.
Yeah, I feel like, but like I agree with you though. Horror comic books in general, because I mean, I even feel like Hellblazer, even like the original stories by Jamie Delano and all them. Those could be good too in those little formats for the horror department.
Well, right now they're pushing those out through the omnibus format. I know they've got 2 for Hellblazer. They've got, I think, the complete Garth Ennis run collected as a one giant omnibus. And then the Jamie run, they've got one out, and then I think they've got volume 2 coming out within the next year, and I think that'll cap his complete run on the character. But as far as I know, they haven't announced plans to collect any of the other stuff. And this thing ran almost 300 issues, 200 something issues.
About, yeah.
So there's tons of stuff uncollected. So I think at some point they might get around to it. But if they start doing it in these smaller volumes, I think it's easier to get out.
It's insane to me that some of these, like, I know we're like veering off topic. Don't worry, we're gonna get back on topic, but it's surprising and shocking to me that some of these like phenomenal characters who are highly underrated barely have in these collected editions, like Constantine. Constantine is not underrated. He's very popular, but I just don't see very many collected editions of Hellblazer. Same thing for Swamp Thing. When was the last time you saw, I don't know, a Dr. Fate collected book? You know what I mean? With Dr. Fate stories.
No.
So I feel like these are kind of things that it's nice to have all the known characters. Obviously, that's what sells. But it'd be nice too to see some of these more underrated, more. I would love to see personally. Okay. Again, for those who will watch later on, Spoony and I, when it comes to Superman, it's a love-hate. Love on his side, hate on my side. Yep. But I don't disrespect Spoony for liking Superman. I think everyone's preference in superheroes is awesome. Because I like to talk that kind of stuff. I like the debate.
I will say the New 52 era Superman completely sucked. I read all of Action Comics. I read all of the Superman. I didn't really read much Supergirl or barely any Superboy. But God, it was such a mess. The fact that, okay, Grant Morrison's run was okay, but he was doing his own thing compared to what the rest of the Superman books were doing.
Yeah.
So they were kind of confused as to what's happening when. And the fact that you've had so many people walk away from that title. I think Andy Diggle was on the book as writer for a single run. And then he left due to disagreements with the editorial. George Perez, amazing legendary artist, was writing the first arc of New 52 Superman. And again, he left after issue 6 due to editorial disagreements.
So Perez was writing the book, not drawing?
Yeah, I think he did covers, but he was mostly writing the book, I think. But you had big name people walking away from the Superman books at the time because I think they weren't clear about, because obviously they're going to give Grant Morrison free reign because of who he is or who they are. I don't know if you know Grant Morrison is non-binary. But Grant Morrison basically gets free reign, which I understand. Fantastic writer. But so everybody else, I think, wants clarification. Like, well, when is Grant's story set? Is it set now or is it set 5 years ago? And if it's set in the past, what's going to happen? Because if we're writing current day stuff, we kind of need to know what. And I think there's just miscommunication. Anyways, it was a bad era for Superman. Yeah. And I was so happy when they replaced him with the pre-Flashpoint version. Because it was, that's been the Superman for over 30 years. So I think myself and a lot of people like that version. But also just more interesting and better written than the angsty version they came out with in the New 52. Did not like that interpretation.
That's fair. The thing with Grant Morrison's like, actually, I knew that Morrison's non-binary. The thing with Morrison, though, I find that their stories, he's a great, they're a great writer, but it's like, I find it's hit and miss sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they could come out with great stories, but then sometimes you read another one and you're like, The one I've never had any issues was Brian K. Vaughan. I find his stories are always wow. Whether it was Why the Last Man or Ex Machina or more modern times, Saga, Paper Girls. I don't think there's ever been a story.
Are you familiar with his Runaways for Marvel? They made it into a TV show that lasted, I think, 2 or 3 seasons, but I did not bother.
Me neither. No, I've actually never got around to his Runaway story, to be honest with you. I did hear really good things about it, though.
Yeah, it was a really interesting premise. The idea is a bunch of kids, their parents are all friends or whatever, so they hang out, and one night they find out at some family party that their friends are all actually supervillains and are part of this cabal. And not wanting to be like their parents, being teenagers, they rebel, and so they run away. And
time, right?
some of them have their own powers because of who their parents are. Like
Yeah.
the teen girl is a witch because her parents work for some dark magic thing or something. And there's an interesting dynamic. There were seasons of it. The first season, which was like 12 issues, I thought was really good. But the second season, which ended up turning into an ongoing, did not enjoy as much. Once Vaughn left the title, they started doing like a shakeup with the team lineup, and overall, I just thought that without him, the series kind of floundered.
Yeah, and he's also one of those writers where it's like Alan Moore. His stories are fantastic when it comes to being a comic book, right, or a graphic novel. But the moment you try to take that and turn it into a TV show or a movie, it doesn't necessarily work. We've seen that multiple times that they've tried with Alan Moore stuff. Watchmen, what a piece of garbage movie, based off of one of the greatest pieces of literature, I'm not gonna lie, of our generation. V for Vendetta was okay. It was a good movie, but it didn't quite put on that impact that the book had. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From Hell is another example. Like that was garbage, to be quite honest.
And
I thought it was.
And then you got League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. Now, I understand why he said he does not want his name anywhere in that movie. He said he doesn't want a credit for writing it. He doesn't want money. He hated the movie that much. And there's definitely worse things out there. But if you've read the book and you see that, like, the tone is so different. The book is like a dark turn of the century kind of like adventure mystery.
Yeah.
And the movie has a lot more like fun and action and very different. I can see why he especially wanted to disown that one.
Well, I mean, it was the movie that made I forget his name.
Sean Connery retired, didn't he?
Thank you. Yeah, it made him retire from acting completely.
Which is funny because I heard he was originally one of the people approached for Lord of the Rings. They wanted him to play Gandalf or something. And he said, no, I don't want to do any of this genre shit. I don't want to do any of this. And then he saw how much money Lord of the Rings made. And so he's like, hey, next time I get an offer to be a part of one of these franchises, I'm going to say yes. And it was League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So I can understand why he called it quits after that.
And to be quite honest, look, Suri and McKellen started laughing all the way to the bank, dude. Magneto and Gandalf, enough said, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, we were very little off topic, but so that's it for me. I read recently, today I binge read 3 issues. So I read DC Sonic the Hedgehog, issue number 1 today.
Now they're doing a free comic book day tie-in for that, aren't they?
I think so. We have to check and see, but I think there might be. But this was a blast, man. Honestly, it takes the premise that Justice League Power Rangers wanted to do,
okay,
and it makes it even better. Like I wasn't a big fan of the Justice League Power Rangers story.
I just thought it was kind of boring.
Yeah,
it was very much like by numbers. Like, okay, they switch. They meet each other's villains, and then it was cool to see, but I'm glad I got it for $5 for the collected version at the dollar store.
No, that's it.
I mean, the art was nice, but
when the artwork is nice, it doesn't necessarily mean the book is good, which is going to bring me to my next thing right after this. But the artwork is nice in this, and it's fun. I mean, each character are teamed up with each other, like towards the end, which is kind of cool. So you got like Tails going with Cyborg, right? Because it's 2 brains together. You've got Batman and Shadow.
I can see that.
Yeah, Knuckles and Superman, Silver and where is he? Green Lantern, Amy Rose and Wonder Woman. And the best though is the dynamic between Sonic and the Flash. It's just
I would figure that would be a highlight.
Mm-hmm. I'm the fastest man alive. Really? You're going a little too slow because I'm the fastest thing in the world. It's really hilarious to see. At one point, Sonic's there like, can we speed things up? You'll probably need to tell that to the Flash, though, because he's a little slow. It's really, I recommend it. You know, if you want to take a look at it.
Okay, so this Sonic fan needs to know: is Big the Cat and Froggy in the book?
Not in this issue.
Oh,
Eggman's not even there yet. It revolves right now. Like, I don't want to give anything away, but they're setting up the big bad at this point. Unlike Power Rangers Justice League, where it was Lord Zed and it was Brainiac.
Yeah.
It's Darkseid, the villain. So.
Oh, see, I would have figured maybe like Eggman and Lex Luthor team up, or like the two mad scientists, or.
But this could be kind of cool because you never know, right? With the father box, the mother box, they could kind of integrate Eggman. So I want to see where it's going to go. It's going to be kind of cool.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good.
Yeah, honestly, like I know you don't pick up, but if you want to wait, honestly, I'm going to read in the next issues. Obviously, I'm going to give you the play-by-play how I like it. But I feel like that's probably something you're going to want to pick up collected when they do, because I think it's only like a 4 or 5 issue miniseries, Sonic
nice.
PC, so it's going to be a really quick read. What seems like a really long, boring read, though, is I read these two today. So I already read Wolverine Revenge #1 back in December or January. Life happens, right? Sometimes I don't get to go to my shop. But I picked these up 2 weeks ago. I read them today. I don't know why I'm wasting my time.
Who's the writer on that one?
It's Jonathan Hickman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've talked to you in private about it, but I do not like Jonathan Hickman's X-Men. I read House of X, Powers of X, or whatever those 2 books were that were actually one story. I did not like what he did. I did not like the retcon of Moira McTaggart being a mutant at all, let alone one of the most amazing one of all kind. I kind of like the dynamic they set up at the end where it was kind of mutants united. Like even Sinister and Apocalypse were there, and they were all kind of like understanding, like, look, as a species, we need to stick together. And I really like the when they were living in San Francisco. There was, I think, Uncanny X-Men. They were informally called the Extinction Team. Not only because like this was all the big guns like Magneto and Emma Frost, and to handle like world-ending events, but at the same time there was this kind of threat that like these are mutants powerful enough to end the world themselves.
Yeah.
And this was right before Avengers versus X-Men.
Yeah.
And I think that was one of the things that kind of sparked it, was the Phoenix Force was coming back, and the Avengers in the world didn't like the fact that the X-Men were just kind of openly flaunting their power and declaring themselves a mini nation. And but then Avengers vs. X-Men happened, and I thought it kind of was starting to go downhill from there.
Yeah,
it's because Marvel tried to replace the X-Men, right? They when Fox had the rights and would not give them back, Marvel tried to push the Inhumans.
Yeah,
which just aren't that interesting. And then so eventually they did buy Fox. They got the X-Men back, and they're trying to bring that back to a good place. But I'll never forget when they were trying to push the Inhumans.
Yeah, dude, I got so duped into was it X-Men versus the Inhumans?
Yeah,
back from like 2017. I got so duped into that. The artwork was really nice on that. And the first cover I saw, you had Storm and Medusa on the cover, and then Beast at the bottom. I was like, this is an awesome looking cover. I'm so interested in this. I didn't read anything about it, and I went out. At this point, all the issues were out because I didn't realize. I was a little bit late to the party. I was like, oh, okay. So I went and bought them all, and I got to issue 2, and I was like, yeah, I don't know what I'm reading here, to be honest, man. So, and I feel like that's the problem with Wolverine Revenge. Now, I've said to you many times, I love Greg Capullo.
Yeah.
You put Capullo and Snyder together, it's a recipe for success.
Mm-hmm.
Because Scott Snyder is one of those writers as well, where it's like, this guy writes captivating stories, especially his Batman stuff.
Oh, did you know he teaches writing at university level? He teaches writing courses.
I did not know that. Wow, that's cool.
I found that going through the Amazon about the author. It says he teaches at like Sarah Lawrence and like 2 other colleges. He teaches like advanced writing classes. So he's like a legit writer who just happens to enjoy working in comic books.
That's really cool. See, and that's why it's like me when it comes to artwork. I just enjoy drawing, right? I don't care if people subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice, but I just enjoy making the content. And I think that's when you take the money factor out of it and you're doing it for that pure pleasure and that pure enjoyment, that's what makes it fun. That's what makes it great and exciting.
Well, I mean, if the guy's like already a known author, like a published author, and he's teaching writing class, like he doesn't. It's not like there's a lot of glamour and money in writing Batman comics, right? But
yeah,
he contributed so much because he loved it, and yeah, I think it's really cool when you get legitimate talent like that just happens to like working in comics.
Yeah. That's how I look at it with Alan Moore. Alan Moore is not in it for the money. He's not.
Yeah.
Alan Moore is a crazy person, but Alan Moore just does it because Alan Moore wants to tell stories, and that's why I think the majority of his stuff that he's written over the years are insane and have redefined genres and comics as we look at them, right? So, yeah. But I'm telling you, man, this right here, the artwork is beautiful. It's Greg Capullo. I've loved Greg Capullo since I've read Spawn when I was a kid. I don't know why my parents were letting a 10-year-old read Spawn. Who knows?
Especially those early issues. First couple of years were brutal.
Right. Yeah, but then Capullo made it even worse, man.
Yeah.
But I grew up with it and I loved it. So I don't know. It's like I feel like Marvel, they kind of enticed Capullo to come back after like what 30 years or so.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and it's like we're gonna team you with Jonathan Hickman, one of our big names of X-Men, and it's like, okay, well, whatever. And the whole story revolves around, like, I know you probably don't care, but and if anybody's gonna watch the stream, I don't want to give anything away, but it's like he's hunting after a couple of people, like a couple of mutants and a couple of heroes and villains who basically did something, and it's kind of like I feel like they're trying to do their own Dark Knights thing. I mean, it's not near anything like Dark Knights whatsoever, but I think they're trying to make their own like little mini series, and then if this works out, they'll do another one later on. But the whole thing kind of feels like Kill Bill, and Kill Bill worked as a fantastic movie, right?
Yeah.
But it doesn't work when you're doing Wolverine.
You know what? As you were saying that, I flashed on the main reason I didn't like Jonathan Hickman. And again, I've only read the opening act. I know he did a lot more. There's like a Sword of X or something that's apparently decent, whatever. The thing that really turned me off was, did you know all the X-Men are clones?
No, I didn't know that.
Literally everybody has died, and they have a system on, because they all moved to the mutant island of Krakoa. They have a system where 5 different mutants working together are basically able to regrow a perfect clone with the memories of the X-Men before they died. And at some point they did say, like, no, Cyclops, this is like your third body. And
yeah,
so the idea that they're all clones because they all died in the past on missions and stuff like that, it cheapens the idea of comic book deaths even further.
Yeah.
I mean, when somebody dies, they're not dead. Next movie that comes out, or next opportunity, like, well, guess who's back alive?
And I think actually you did mention that to me. I do think you mentioned that to me at one point. I was like, that's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
Again, it cheapens the idea of these characters being in any real danger. Go ahead, just suicide run yourself, and they'll regrow you. It'll be like you wake up tomorrow like nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was a dumb idea.
Yeah, no.
I did like the concept of like, so Apocalypse and Sinister and all these evil mutants and stuff.
Yeah,
they kind of have to fall in line. they know that these people won't be like completely subservient. So I think they give their own little corner of the island, their own little kingdom to run. But ultimately, like, you're part of this council and you have to do whatever like the nation agrees on.
Yeah. Anyways, look, X-Men is one of those things where I don't know. I feel like it's the same thing with Marvel in general these days. Like, we just had all this Spider-Man bullshit in Marvel comics, and
yeah,
now they're revamping Spider-Man. I don't know. I don't know. You know that when it comes to you and I, like, I love DC, and I know you love Marvel.
Yeah.
I'm more of a Marvel guy. You're more of a DC guy. Actually, in fact, I'm more of an Image Comics guy. That's more my thing. And I also like a lot of the imprints from IDW. But between the two big ones, I lean more towards Marvel Comics because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero of all time. But I don't know. I just feel like in the last 10 years or so, DC's comics have been a little more superior to Marvel's comics. You know, it's
I feel like they've acknowledged all the missteps and mistakes they've made over the last 15, 20 years. And so they're trying to correct it. It's like, look, just give the fans what they want.
Yeah.
Quit rebooting your continuity every couple of years. Just I want a Batman that remembers what happened 5 years ago. I don't want it's like, oh, it's a line-wide reboot and some of the stuff counts, but some of the stuff doesn't. Like, when they did the New 52, they said, okay, all previous Batman stories count. So you have all those years of Batman stories. At that point, Bruce Wayne had been Batman for 5 years. So everything he went through, all the villains, meeting Talia, falling in love, having the kid, the clone that got grown, accelerate, like, all this supposed to happen within a 5-year window. It's kind of ridiculous. Like, it's okay. I know they wanted to have the character be a little bit younger, maybe more like late 20s, early 30s, as opposed to maybe late 30s where the character was before the reboot.
Yeah.
No. Anyways, I know one of the things we meant to talk about was the Fantastic Four movie trailer.
Yeah.
And I remember that because one of the things that I think people have with the X-Men is that these people exist in a universe. Okay, people fear and hate the Hulk, but the Thing and the Fantastic Four are freaky people. Guy sets himself on fire, and other guy's a giant rock monster, but people love the Fantastic Four. You've got Beast, who's like a furry blue dude. He doesn't look too threatening, and people hate and fear him. So I just, there's that dichotomy of they're all freaky looking people, but some are good and some are bad. It's like, if it happens to you on accident, it's bad. It's okay. But if you're born that way, it's bad.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to say it, but it kind of mirrors sometimes what happens in the world.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. The book's always been great for that, for being able to allow the artists and authors to kind of share their ideas and their values, but at the same time, it works perfectly in the context of the universe, and it makes great stories.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, Fantastic Four. Honestly, I look. It's my favorite superhero team. I'm not sure how I feel about the new movie coming out. Like, seeing the teaser and now seeing the trailer. Don't get me wrong. Pedro Pascal is an amazing actor. I love the stuff he's in. The guy who does the voice of the Thing, he was great in the first season of The Punisher, and he's really good in the show The Bear. I don't know if you watched that.
I hear it's good, but I have not seen it.
It's good. It's stressful, but it's good. I think the actor who plays Johnny Storm I think it's the guy who played Eddie in Stranger Things. I don't know too much about his acting, and I have no clue who the actress is who's playing Sue Storm.
Yeah, I've never heard of her before.
Yeah, but you've got Herbie's in the movie. Like,
yeah,
that's ridiculous. I do like the fact that Galactus is coming in, but it's my two things. Okay, here's my two things. I want to go on record right now and say, for those who will be watching or who are watching, I don't care about gender swapping. I don't care about racial swapping in movies.
Now, if you're talking the Silver Surfer,
that's what I'm talking about. I don't care. Okay.
Well, the thing that I thought was stupid about all the uproar about it is they're not creating a new character. Norrin Radd loved Shah Labal. In order to save her and his planet, he became the Herald of Galactus.
Mm-hmm.
All they're doing was saying it was Shah Labal who made the sacrifice instead of Norrin Radd. There's still a couple who love each other. It's just she did it instead of him.
Yeah.
They're not making a new character just for the sake of, oh, we want. And I think people who read into that are just trying to get rage bait on YouTube.
Yeah, exactly. Now, my whole qualm with it though is I get what you're saying, and I hope, personally, I kind of hope that people are right with what they're saying, that it is an alternate universe. Because the design, she looks cool. I'm not gonna lie, she looks pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
But when you take a character who's never been Silver Surfer in the comic books,
yeah,
and then you make them that character in the movie, I can understand why people are like, but that doesn't make sense. I get that 100%. So if it is an alternate universe, how we said, hey, she was Silver Surfer at one point in the comic books, and I'd be like, well, that's what they're going with,
like the Natalie Portman Thor. People
yeah,
are
exactly.
like, oh, it's like, no, that they did that storyline years ago in the comics. It was good.
Yeah, I remember when Love and Thunder was coming out, and people were like, this is bullshit. Why is she playing Thor? I was like, have you ever read a fucking comic book in your life? No,
Yeah.
Then shut up. It was like the whole thing with Domino when Deadpool 2 came out. Why does Domino have to be black? I'm like, shut up, man. Who cares?
As long as the character feels authentic enough, I'm fine with that. I know it's not the book, and if I want those stories, I go read them. I hate people that are like, well, this is not accurate to the book. Well, no, it's a movie. It's a different medium. They interpret things differently. Also, you're not getting the guy who wrote the stories to write the movie screenplay. Exactly. If they did, it might be closer to what you've read in the other material, but there's different writers adapting it or coming up with their own ideas, so you can't expect the same thing.
No, that's it.
I think the only comic book movie that really blew my expectations away was Joker.
You're talking about Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah. Because I feel like you could have removed the Arkham references and the Joker references and just had it be a movie about some guy who, snaps. I think it still would have worked as a movie. I think nothing about that was comic booky enough that.
Fair. Like, I still haven't seen Joker, and the reason why it's because it's the fact that they're including it into a DC movie. But I think you're right. For me, if they would have removed that aspect and they're like, okay, listen, here's a movie about a guy who is Joker. It's not an official DC movie. It's about a man's downward spiral with his mental psyche down. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm interested in watching this. But the moment you start bringing in and people start speculating, oh, when's Batman going to show up? And then they had, I think it also kind of killed the first movie. The first movie, to what I heard, like rave reviews, everybody loved it.
Yeah.
But I think Folie à Deux just kind of like.
Well, apparently it was a musical.
Yeah,
like there were a number of song and dance sequences, which I mean I guess is appropriate because this guy's insane and he has this like romantic, sunny view of the world that does not adhere to reality. So I can get that in his head. He thinks, oh, everything's grand or whatever, but. That's not what audiences were expecting after the tone of the first one.
That's it. And having Joaquin Phoenix, who we both know is a great actor, and you have Lady Gaga, who, her too, she's a fantastic actress. And you put them together in this movie, and to what I'm hearing, it's like they're phoning it in, and it's not that compelling. They don't have good chemistry. I'm like, it kind of seems like this movie should not have been made. They should have just left the first Joker the way it is. Because to what I heard that the way the movie ended, Joker, you didn't really need a sequel to the movie, to what I heard. So
no, and like I said, I think Batman is not mentioned at all. I think they only mention that the hospital that I think he works at is called Arkham Hospital or something.
Okay.
But there's no references to like on the news, like, oh, Bruce Wayne is building a new building. There's not like. Maybe there is. It's been a couple years since I've seen it, but it's not like full of Easter eggs where, oh, that's Alfred in the background buying groceries or something. Like it's just its own movie. It's a dramatic movie, and like I said, it could have been a movie that they're like, this is really good, but how do we market it? Oh, we'll just say that this guy is this is the origin story for the Joker. Boom. Instant, people are gonna be like, oh, it's tied in. Let me see it.
See, the thing for me is that I know you said that one like blew your expectations out of the water. Me though, I think there's only two that really blew my expectations out of the water. Now, mind you, I was a kid when one of them came out, so it wasn't until my adult years where I was like, "Holy fuck, this is actually really faithful to the comic books." But the first one was The Dark Knight. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I know that people say this.
Oh, the Heath Ledger?
Yes.
Yeah.
But The Dark Knight is a masterpiece when it comes to, I'm not going to say superhero, comic book movies in general.
Mm-hmm.
The Dark Knight really is one of those movies where it was just a bunch of filmmakers who had a passion to bring Batman's story back to the big screen.
Yeah.
After the abysmal sequels that followed Batman Returns.
Yeah.
And they just revamped. They made Batman more realistic, more relatable character. They took Christian Bale, who does not even look like a superhero.
No.
Kind of looks like an everyman, and was like, an everyman could technically be Batman. Mm-hmm. And that's what I love. And they took the Joker, and instead of making the Joker, oh, it's the Joe Chill backstory, or it's the Alan Moore backstory. They took a man who's certifiably insane, and we don't know what his actual backstory is. And I think that's what made it so incredible. And that's why I tell people to this day, Heath Ledger's Joker was the best Joker. Him and Mark Hamill.
Yeah. Well, Mark Hamill for sure. But he said now that Kevin Conroy is gone, he said he's retired from that role. He's not going to.
Yeah.
Which I can respect.
Yeah, of course.
And also give a chance for other actors to come in and take their own spin on it. You know, he's been playing that character for what, over 30 years? Like, it's okay for him to step aside.
Yeah. And plus the fact that Mark Hamill, you know, this has a lightsaber that when it lights up, instead of making that whoom sound, it laughs like the Joker, like his Joker.
Oh, wow. No, I didn't know that.
That's pretty cool. And the other movie, like I said, was really, I think it was last year when I got them on Blu-ray. I bought the Ninja Turtles movies on Blu-ray. And when I rewatched the first Ninja Turtles movie, and the fact that, like I showed you, I reread the original Turtles collected.
Yeah.
I was like, shit, this mirrors the comic book really well. And that's why I think to this day I've had conversations with a lot of people where I'm like, I think, like, Dark Knight to me holds the mantle as the greatest comic book movie ever made. But I think right after that, when I say the most accurate comic book movie ever made, and you and I are people that watch a lot of comic book movies because we love comic books, you know? I'd definitely say Ninja Turtles is the most faithful adaptation of a comic book to a movie.
For this genre. There's a lot of, like, I've never read the book Ghost World. The movie might be perfectly adapted from the book. Scott Pilgrim was pretty good. You're trying to compress all this storyline into an hour-and-a-half movie.
Yeah.
But we got to remember that there's all these other comic book we don't necessarily think of as being comic book movies because of the glut of like superhero films. But I know Ghost World was based off an indie comic. There's a couple others I can't remember right now, but I'm not familiar with that stuff. Tank Girl. I don't know the source material. I think it's, from what I've seen of the illustrations and stuff, it captures that kind of crazy punk energy.
It does.
I don't know how close the characterization is, how close, excuse me, like the plots and stuff are.
Yeah. With Tank Girl, they I think they really, the world building, the designs, the looks of the characters, they really got what's his name, Jamie Hewlett.
Yeah,
now does Gorillas. They got his stuff down packed. The story was just dumb.
Yeah.
But again, you take Malcolm McDowell, who's already a certifiably crazy man.
Oh God, I forgot he was in that. All I remember
all
I remember is Lori Petty in that outfit and that kangaroo thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Ice-T.
Oh God, was it?
Ice-T, man.
This is pre-Law and Order.
Yeah, exactly. It's weird to think that I'm like a close to 40-year-old man, and I'm like, this is shit that I grew up with, and I'm like, yo, it seems just like yesterday, and oh man, it's crazy to me. I mean, we've been sitting here for a little over an hour now.
We haven't talked about Free Comic Book Day.
So let's get the elephant out of the room first things first. Diamond distribution seems like I did not know the whole story until a couple of days ago. I actually saw a live stream pop up on my feed from a channel I follow called Comic Book Corner 2.0. I like to see what new comic books are coming out. He likes to do that. And I saw it said, is this the end of Free Comic Book Day? And I was like, what the hell are they talking about? So I did a little digging, and it seems that Diamond... here, let me get this website that I found. This is from a couple of days ago. I think this is from April 29th, so still like 3-4 days ago. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. So right here, Diamond Comic, deal with Alliance collapse, lawsuit, bankruptcy, fraud. So that's not good when you have fraud right here in the title, right? So Diamond Comic Distributors is in free fall as the company faces liquidation, a multi-party fraud lawsuit, and the collapse of a major contract with Wizards of the Coast, right? Those who do
Wizards of the Coast, that's Hasbro. That's a big company,
exactly. Man. Yep. So Dungeons and
Dragons, that Transformers money.
Exactly. So Alliance Entertainment, they agreed in January to buy Diamond Distribution out of bankruptcy, right? They filed a suit alleging it was misled about the termination of the lucrative Wizards of the Coast deal, worth nearly 25% of annual sales. As a result, Alliance has since canceled the deal and withdrawn from the acquisition, according to an SEC filing from the company. Meanwhile, Diamond failed to submit required financial reports, prompting a federal court to begin converting its Chapter 11 case, so protection, into full liquidation under Chapter 7. So liquidation of assets right here, right? You're wondering, like, what's scrolling down? It's, Diamond had their paws on a lot of things, like we were saying earlier, previews, and they own the logos for Free Comic Book Day. Like, they do Free Comic Book Day.
Yeah.
So what happened? Alliance alleges fraud over the WotC contract termination. According to the complaint, Alliance alleges that Diamond and associated parties, including executives, restructuring consultants, and an investment bank, intentionally withheld information about the WotC contract ending on April 30th. So this is 3 days ago.
Wow.
Internal discussions at Wizards of the Coast reportedly showed the decision to terminate was made as early as December 2024, months before Alliance was informed. Alliance claims the concealment negatively altered the value of the acquisition and is now seeking the return of its $8.5 million deposit, along with damages and disgorgement of fees paid to third parties involved in the sales process. You know that you want to seek financial aid. So why are you doing this? Like, why are you not being honest to the people who are willing to help you? You know what I mean?
No idea. Maybe they're trying to tank the company so they can sell it or something. I don't know. I'm not an economist. I can only speculate as to. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like you're looking for help. Like, be honest about your stuff. You know, like. Anyway, so now they're saying, like, here it says, right, court moves to liquidate Diamond after missed filings. So it's going to court with that. I think there was anything else. So what happens next, right? This is what I want to touch on a little bit. If Diamond doesn't file the overdue reports or no one objects, the court may convert to Chapter 7 automatically. Now, I don't know. I haven't read recently, like in the last couple of days, if anything happened. These stupid ads. Meaning Diamond could be liquidated without a fight. So basically saying, like, bye-bye, Diamond, you're done. Mm-hmm. This means also that Alliance's $8.5 million deposit would likely be treated as an unsecured creditor claim, placing it near the bottom of the payment priority list. So basically saying, Alliance, I know you tried to help them, but you just lost 8.5 million. So
You gotta wait. Yeah.
yeah. So it was a real risky move that Alliance did, and it didn't pay off for them because Diamond is. So if Diamond does file the required paperwork, Alliance could try to negotiate a settlement or have their claim recognized in a restructured plans. But they're also pursuing fraud claims against individuals and entities not protected by the bankruptcy, such as executives, consultants, and the investment bank, potentially shifting its focus to those parties in hopes of recovering losses through separate legal action.
That's not good if you're holding out hope that some lawsuits are going to save your company. That's not a good sign.
No, it really isn't. So it remains a possibility for the settlement, but yeah. So impact on the comic book market. Now this is where this will, this is what we're wondering now as comic book consumers, right? And how's this going to impact? While Diamond no longer distributes DC or Marvel comics, if it is liquidated, the impact on the comic market could still be severe. Diamond has long been, as we know, the distributor for comic shops, especially for indie publishers. Its collapse would disrupt the supply chain, delay shipments, and force retailers to quickly establish new relationships with alternative distributors like Lunar, or this is something I didn't know, Penguin Random House. I didn't know that they did that.
Yeah, actually, the box I ordered from Amazon with books came with a Penguin Random House logo on it.
Okay. You're gonna show those after. You keep talking about them.
Yeah.
So smaller publishers who relied on Diamond exclusively may struggle to reach stores, which sucks because you and I, who are people who are maybe one day, are like, oh, let's write a comic book, as an indie comic book. If this shit is not sorted out for the longest time, it could affect even people like us who have dreams or hopes of putting out an indie comic book. You know what I mean?
Well, all they're going to do is, in the meantime, until this gets resolved at some point, people are going to come up with a solution. So even if Diamond does come back, there's probably going to be serious competition for them.
Yeah.
I mean, with the internet, people can self-market and self-promote all their stuff. Without Diamond, some other company will probably step up and fill the need in terms of marketing, advanced solicitations, and stuff like that. And distribution, obviously.
Yeah.
Unless the company is in Canada, they're working with Penguin Random House for their distribution. So they're either just some other company's gonna spring up to fill that gap, or they're just gonna find other solutions.
Yeah.
I think Diamond. Yeah, go ahead.
No, go on. Sorry.
I was gonna say, I think if Diamond can't get this resolved ASAP, it's going to be over for them.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it was a big deal back in the day when Marvel pulled out of Diamond previews and they started their publishing. They're a publishing company. Why would they not just publish their own version of, hey, here's what's coming up in the next few months?
Yeah, exactly.
So when Marvel pulled out, that was kind of like, hey, why are we so beholden to Diamond anyways?
Yeah, and I think it's them, DC, and I think even IDW, because when I get my comics, I get IDW previews.
Yeah.
So the groundwork was laid down before they started all this stuff, I think.
We're talking about companies that publish. It just makes sense to go well, we can just publish our own version of, previews.
Yeah, but the crazy thing is that a lot of companies, a lot of indie publishers rely on Diamond, especially for the previews. And
well, I think you get the visibility from them that it's hard to get from other places, I would imagine.
Yeah, and when you go onto Free Comic Book Day's website, the sponsors, man, you've got previews, you've got local comic book shop Locator, which I believe is run by Diamond also.
Yeah.
And then Halloween Comic Fest, which that's just bullshit now. It's gone to the whole digital thing. Nobody cares about Halloween Comic Fest, but it's why Diamond has their paws on a lot of things that help the comic book industry. So it's yeah. And if that wasn't enough, we're gonna continue reading about just quickly. If that wasn't enough, there's the damn tariffs that they keep talking about, and
Mm-hmm.
comic book shops are saying that it's going to impact us. It really is going to impact us if for some reason those tariffs go in place. They keep getting pushed back, but like
I don't think anybody knows what's going on there.
no, and that's something that I don't talk about on my channel, right? But it is something to think about, that with Diamond going under and the looming tariffs, how much is it going to affect the comic book industry?
Well, I don't know if you heard, not related to comics, but the gaming news, Xbox just announced that starting May 1st, so no notice, just overnight, the price of their consoles jumped up by about $100, about $70 to $100, depending on which model you're buying. And this is technology that came out in 2020. Show me any other piece that came out and 5 years later, it's worth more.
Yeah.
The people who got the best deal on an Xbox now were the people who bought it day one. Anybody who waited thinking it'll go cheaper, yeah, it did for a minute, and now it's going up.
Yeah.
It's a strange move. Nobody seems to know why. Times are tough. Charging more for stuff, especially older technology.
Yeah.
Especially when they said they want the next Xbox out by like 2027, 2028. So, I don't know. This is not a good business plan, but who knows what they're doing with this.
I mean, Spoony, look at Switch 2's coming out this year.
Well, everybody says Nintendo opened the doors, and so Xbox is like, well, hey, if you're raising prices, we will too. Because they said their games are going up, but they're going to wait till the holiday season before that happens, and only on newer titles. They're not going to retroactively raise the price on older stuff.
Yeah.
Except for all their hardware. So the system, the controllers.
And I thought that the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, I thought that shit was expensive for the Nintendo 64, Sega Genesis.
Yeah.
For like $100 a month. But the Switch 2, it's insane, the price. And the crazy thing is, I'm seeing a lot of early reviews from influencers in the industry or people who've had hands-on experience with the Switch 2. A lot of people saying it's great, but if you're happy with your Switch right now, you don't need to worry about upgrading to the Switch 2. They're still planning games for the Switch up until next year. So it's like, why are we running the Switch 2 right now at an insane price? Wait to run out your contracts with your games. Like they just announced last month or the month before, there's a Marvel side-scrolling game coming out that's in the same exact 16-bit style as the Marvel vs. Capcom games.
Okay.
And they're calling it a spiritual successor, but it's a side-scroll, right? So it kind of looks like it looks like the Marvel vs. Capcom games, but the gameplay looks like it's X-Men: Children of the Atom, the old arcade game by
right,
or Capcom, sorry. Yeah, was it Konami or Capcom who did the arcade game?
Konami. They did the Simpsons arcade game.
Yeah.
They did a lot of those.
So it looks like it plays like that, but the design is like Marvel vs. Capcom. So, and that's coming out on the Switch. Like, I don't know. So yeah, so comic book shops, they were already struggling, which is the truth, with reports suggesting that nearly 50% have closed in recent years, making Diamond's collapse feel like a fuel on an already raging fire. So, yeah, it really is, I guess, really hurting the comic book industry. But
also, I mean, what with the internet and Amazon, I've found out about a number of stuff that's coming out just through Amazon. Like, hey, you might be interested in this. And it's like, holy crap, they just announced this. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
Like, I can't think of an example right now. But, yeah, Diamond's not so important to today's world. It is and it isn't. Like you said, it's great exposure for smaller publishers and stuff like that. But anybody can self-promote these days. You just need the right word of mouth. You need the right set of eyes reading it and talking about it, and you can have sales success.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, but it begs the question, right? That's one of the main things we want to talk about today is how's that going to bode for Free Comic Book Day going forward? Now, you and I talk about it every year. Like we've known each other now. We've known each other for about 3 years now, and we've always talked about Free Comic Book Day. And I'm going on. I think it's my 14th or 15th year going to Free Comic Book Day. Okay, I say 14, 15 years, but obviously you got to kind of take out those 2-3 years where it was the pandemic.
Yeah.
I was getting in 2021 and 2022, they were doing Free Comic Book weeks. So I was getting my comic books, when I was going to shop, but then there was none in 2020. So you're looking at 12 maybe, but in total, I've been going since like 2010 or 2011. And what I did not know is that, Free Comic Book Day, first of all, has been around since like 2002.
I heard that, yeah. I wasn't aware of it till, about maybe 2009 or something like that.
Yeah. I thought it's been around since, like, when I first started going 2010, 2011, I was like, oh, this is new to me, right? So I didn't realize it was 2002. There's people who are like, I thought it was around since the 80s and 90s. I was like, okay. Wow. But Free Comic Book Day started as a platform to help some of those indie comic book shops or comic book shops in general get people into the stores to buy comic books. But I didn't realize that the shitty thing that Diamond was doing is that they're charging a lot more for the books now. And in the last recent years, that shops are only taking specific books that they know their clientele
are going to want.
Exactly. So it kind of removes the fact of, oh, hey, come to the comic book shop, come see, we have all these books for free.
Maybe you discover something that you didn't know was out there, and hey, it's really cool. In years past, I've seen a number of really cool indie books that I've gotten for free at Free Comic Book Days, and it's stuff that if they didn't give this to me for free, I probably wouldn't have checked it out, but it's actually pretty cool.
Exactly. Like my wife has picked up a book called Lady Mechanica, which was not sure who wrote that book, but Lady Mechanica, which she enjoyed. From 2017 to 2019, they were releasing Malika Warrior Queen, which was a really unique studios. So, anyways, unique little indie book too, which has like that whole Black Panther feel to it, but with a warrior queen, So there's some really good, right? There are some really cool indie books, but last year, my wife Vanessa just really wanted Kirby. That's the one book she wanted. She's a huge fan of Kirby. She loves the games. And there was a Kirby book. I don't know if it was double-sided with Minecraft or Avatar, but there was a Kirby book and she really wanted it. And we went to 3 shops. Was it last year or the year before? The year before. And we went to like a bunch of shops that day. And one of them was like, well, we sold out, sorry. And then when we went to Check Swing, my shop, it's basically what he said to me, was like, well, we didn't order that because we don't really think that our clientele is going to take that. And there's parents that go in with their kids, right? Because it's from our generation, but there's not very many kids that go in, so they don't really order the kids' books. So I get it. Like, there's a book that was surprising to me that's coming out tomorrow for Free Comic Day, which is a Gundam Wing 30th anniversary. And I saw this book. It's a thick book, cardstock and everything. I'm like,
nice.
I put out my preview and I mentioned the top 5 or top 3 I wanted. But this book, this Gundam blows everything out of the fucking water. Like, I want this book, but I really don't think, like, I'm going to a comic book shop called Crossover tomorrow and I'm going to Check Swing. And I don't know if Crossover will have it. And if they do, it might be gone right away. Mm-hmm. And Check Swing, I know, is not going to order it. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that book. And I'm a huge Gundam fan on top of it. So,
yeah, no, I like when they give you like a bit of a nicer book.
Yeah,
this is going back years now. I think the nicest book I ever got from a Free Comic Book Day. Who published Mouse Guard? Was it IDW or? Anyways, there's a book called Mouse Guard. It was like a fantasy type of thing, but it starred mice and it was all in like a little animal creature setting. And the Free Comic Book Day came with a little hardcover book. So I thought that was kind of cool, considering it was free, that they did a little hardcover for it.
Yeah. But there was also one, I think it was a 2018 Image Comics. Was it a Kirkman book? I just remember that the cover was like sideways. It was a purple cover. I forget what it was called, but it was a full issue. And you don't get those really on Free Comic Book Day. It's like the preview of what's coming up. But this Gundam Wing book that's coming out tomorrow is a complete full issue. And it's like, and to what I'm hearing is like not a lot of shops want to order it because they're not sure, it ties into manga, and a lot of comic book shops are like iffy on manga, you know what I mean? And it really kind of sucks.
Which I don't really get, but
yeah, honestly, we'll see, right? But what do you think, Spoony? What do you think this means though for the future of Free Comic Book Day? Because like I said, Diamond, they put all their paws all over Free Comic Book Day. It's them who runs the show. Who, like, do you think this is the last one, and if it is,
I think Disney will probably buy it off of Diamond during their liquidation sale or whatever, and they're just going to keep running it, and you're just going to see it all Star Wars themed and everything like that. They're going to use it. They're going to use it as an opportunity to market whatever the summer movie is. In this case, it would be Thunderbolts, which just comes out today, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm actually I'm hearing a lot of good things about Thunderbolts. I'm
Me
hearing
too.
people saying it's a return to form for Marvel. So, ship on, man.
Yeah.
Personally, I'm looking forward to Fantastic Four. I don't know, the trailer didn't convince me, but I love the Fantastic Four, so I'm going to go see it. But I'm pretty sure your number one contender for the superhero movie of the year is going to be Superman. I know that.
Oh, for sure. But I am curious to see Fantastic Four because I want to see how they kind of work them into the MCU, whether it's going to be some kind of retcon, or maybe, like you said, maybe it is going to be like its own universe. And then part of the, Reed Richards opens a portal to the MCU and that's how they cross. So like, I don't know how they're going to handle it, but I'm really interested to see, first of all, how they adapt it, but also how they kind of work it into this larger franchise that they have.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I was really happy that they had John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic.
I wanted that. I really like that cameo, but Pedro Pascal I like a lot, and I'm sure he'll do something good with the role.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's just, call me a comic book purist, but he has a different look.
Yeah.
From Mr. Fantastic, but so does Sue Storm. So honestly, Marvel, what I will say, they're good on their casting though. They do choose great actors to play the roles. So we'll see. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna lie to you, Spoony. I saw Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, and I was like, what is that?
I mean, to be fair, the character is supposed to be kind of a joke.
Right.
Like, since Jeff Johns, the character's actually been really cool and a badass, but for a long time he was just kind of like the hothead jerk. Yeah. Doesn't always make the best choices, and that is reflected in his fashion.
Again, that's the Green Lantern we got in that Justice League next live stream. That's what we're gonna do, man.
but there were some other characters in there. The Mr. Terrific, I'm excited to see. I love the character. I'm glad to see him outside of like a cartoon show, actually getting some face time. I like that Hawkwoman is in it. Metamorpho, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how they do. Just the fact that right off the gate, it's not just another Superman origin story.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, hey, everybody knows who Superman is. Let's just get right into it.
Yeah.
I mean, Grant Morrison, we were talking about All-Star Superman before. He wrote the Superman origin in 8 words. It was, what was it? Doomed planet, desperate scientist, last hope, kindly couple. That's all you need to know about Superman. 8 words. That tells you everything.
Yeah.
8 words, man. That's one of the reasons why Morrison is a genius of a writer. Sometimes I think he's the only one that understands what he's writing, but sometimes he does hit on some good stuff.
That's fair. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the books being offered on Free Comic Book Day. I know that I've already like taken a look at that on my preview, but not many people watch that, so that's okay.
Well, and stuff changes between now and then. Sometimes
Yeah,
some of the stuff they didn't reveal the cover initially when they put up the announcement. Now they have.
exactly.
I know when they first announced it, they didn't include the DC title, which I thought
Yeah,
surprising. But then I'm like, oh, they'll probably just announce it later on, because DC always uses Free Comic Book Day as the start of a new initiative, either
yeah,
a new storyline that's going to be happening or a major event. This is like it's a good way to get people invested in this new series if the first thing is free.
yeah, and that's why actually I'm not using Free Comic Book Day's website for this because they never update shit on there, and that's one of the
Yeah,
things that's always pissed me off. So we've got superhero hype right here. Credit superhero hype. And this is the accurate full list of books. This is from April 28th. So we are going to be starting with the DC's Free Comic Book Day offerings. I think they're going with All In, right? If I'm not mistaken.
yeah, and I only know the basic of All In. I'm just looking forward to reading it. Scott Snyder back on Batman, eh?
Uh,
The All In Batman or whatever they call it. Scott Snyder writing it.
oh, it's possible. I know right now. I don't know if it's finished, but I know that they were doing the most recent Batman thing I saw is Hush 2 right now, which brings
Is
back
that
Loeb and Lee.
no? But this new, I think they're only on like issue 4 or 5 or something like that, maybe less. This
Oh,
DC
okay,
All
okay.
In. Basically, it's DC's version of Marvel's Ultimate Universe,
Oh,
where
I
they
see what
kind
you
of
mean. Okay.
reimagined everything as if it took place today.
Okay.
That's where we got Miles Morales and stuff like that. So this is like DC's version. So Scott Snyder back on Batman, but as far as I know, it's kind of like he's not chained to any of the continuity. It's kind of like a new reimagining of the character. I'm really excited. Jason Aaron is writing the All In Superman, and some of his stuff I've absolutely loved. I love anything he's done with Wolverine. I think he gets the character.
Yeah.
I really liked his Ghost Rider run a lot. I heard his Savage Avengers was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Savage Avengers, Marvel had got the rights to Conan back. So Savage Avengers was like Conan, Wolverine, Venom. It was just like the Kill Crew kind of thing.
You
Like,
got Jeff Lemire on Flash. That's gonna be pretty interesting.
oh, you called the thing up, yeah. Oh, Absolute, that's what they're calling it. Absolute Superman, Absolute Flash. Al Ewing, I love that guy. He's a great writer. Absolute Green Lantern. I think he's gonna kill on it. I read a lot of. He wrote the Mighty Avengers for Marvel. Basically it was the Black Avengers because it had all the black characters. It was a really good book.
Nice. Nice.
And he wrote I think he wrote some Spider-Man stuff. I heard a couple of years ago he wrote the Hulk. He had a run called The Immortal Hulk.
Oh,
and
yeah, okay, yeah.
I've heard that it's like the best Hulk story ever. It goes into the fact that like Bruce Banner, they've talked about it before, like Bruce Banner can't die. He tries to kill himself, he changes into the Hulk.
Yeah.
But I guess this series examines like what kind of psychological impact does it have on this person? I don't know much about it. I've been trying to avoid spoilers, but I've heard the Immortal Hulk is like a must read from the last couple of years of Marvel.
Yeah, I heard that
Like
the Hulk
it was like an automatic classic right out the gate. Like Scott Snyder's Batman, people knew that there's something legendary was happening, and this is going to be referenced for decades.
And the crazy thing is, I tell people I'm a Hulk fan. Like, I love the Incredible Hulk, and people laugh. They're like the big green monster guy. I'm like, read the books, man. You'll see. It speaks for itself. So
because I think the character doesn't have enough like big stories that people know about. Even I can mention moments, but I can't think of any particular storylines. I think I really liked all the Planet Hulk stuff. I really liked that they took
yeah,
this science fiction character and they stuck him into like a fantasy setting. And this is an alien world, so things down there can actually hurt him. It's not like on Earth where he's like unstoppable. He's dealing with alien technology, and this stuff can hurt him. So suddenly he's not this. He really has to battle and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was one of the first times that not Bruce Banner, but the Hulk was happy that he could be himself, because it was like a gladiator planet where the strong ruled, and that suited him just fine. And he fell in love, and he had a kid, and he thought the kid died, but the kid didn't. And he actually had 2 sons. But that's what led to the World War Hulk, because he after Planet Hulk, he had kind of settled, built this life. He had a wife. He was going to have kids. And then the ship that the Avengers used to send him to this planet blew up and killed everybody he loved. So he came back to Earth and absolutely beat on them.
And I think for me, honestly, the Planet Hulk, World War Hulk, the whole like that Hulk is probably my favorite story, and it's my favorite look of Hulk too. That's why when it came to Thor Ragnarok, I wasn't expecting too much because I didn't like the first 2 movies.
Yeah.
Surprise hit for me. I loved Thor Ragnarok. But what got me was I was super excited to see Gladiator Hulk in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And paid off really well, man.
No, because these actors, they sign on to do, like Robert Downey Jr. says he'll be in like 10 movies for Marvel, but that doesn't mean he's starring in 10 movies. He could have a 30-second appearance in the mid-credit scene of Ant-Man, and that counts as a film appearance.
That's true.
So it felt like for the longest time that's all they were going to do with Hulk. Is just, what movie was it where he was in it at the end giving therapy? Was it Ant-Man?
I think so.
He's in there helping give therapy to somebody, like talking about their problems. Like, come on. I want the Hulk.
Well, look at the post credit scene or the end credit scenes for Avengers where they're just eating shawarma. I was like,
yeah,
okay.
Apparently, they filmed that the night of the premiere.
Did they really?
Yeah. Apparently, like before they walked the red carpet, they filmed that scene and they edited it in at the end. That's what I heard. I mean, who knows?
That's hilarious, man. Anyway, so that's what we're getting now. We got Superman's Good Guy Gang and Kanga U. I'm not quite sure what that is, but it's aimed for kids, it looks like. Then we got Marvel. So we have Marvel Voices, which they do every year. It's all the ethnic superheroes, which is always really cool to pick up. We got Iron Man and Friends, and then Spidey and Friends, which is based on the Disney Junior show. We have the Spider-Man Ultimate Universe #1. And then we have Star Wars #1. Are we looking at...
but that, if you go back to the Star Wars, it says a sample of their line. So you're either getting like 2 or 3 pages from each book telling you to go out and buy the collected edition, or at the best, they were original stories written for Free Comic Book Day, but they're probably only, again, a couple pages. Yeah. I would not be surprised if it's the first one. If it's like, here's a sample, go out and buy the hardcover.
Honestly, for me, they're so useless, the Star Wars Free Comic Book Day books. I do it every year. And I'm like, oh god, I love Star Wars, one of my favorite film franchises. But like, I don't know. I'm so confused though. They're supposed to be the Fantastic Four book.
Yeah, isn't it?
Oh, they were in a right.
Fantastic Four X-Men. They're mentioning it. Go. It's just not its own listing there.
Yeah. All right, so Gold Tier. This is one my wife is really excited about. This is the book she wants. So again, I could care less about Archie. I don't give a shit about that. There's Conan. Conan's always really cool, honestly.
So wait, Conan isn't with Marvel anymore? Was that just for like a minute, or?
So Conan is a whore. Conan's done the rounds. Like, as far back as I remember, Conan was with Dark Horse. I think in like the 80s and 90s, right?
And through the 2000s too. I think. Or it went to Dynamite or something. Yeah. Or the Red Sonja did. I don't know. You're right. It's all over the place.
Oh, Red Sonja went to Dynamite. But like Marvel had Conan in like the 70s.
Yeah.
And I think there was an anniversary coming up. So Marvel was like, we want the rights back to Conan. So they got Conan back for like a hot second. They did the Savage Avengers, which was shit and nobody read
Oh,
it.
was it?
And as soon as Conan came into the fold, he was gone again. And as of, I think it's last year or the year before, Titan Comics now has the rights to publishing Conan comic books.
Is it like Angela, where they bought Angela from Neil Gaiman, from Spawn, and then they did nothing with her? They had her be Thor's long-lost secret sister, and then they did nothing? She was with the Guardians of the Galaxy
possibly.
for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's possible, but I don't think Marvel did that out of spite, unlike Neil Gaiman.
No, I think Neil Gaiman did it out of spite.
He did.
Like,
but then again, look,
because wasn't it a big debate between him and McFarlane about who actually owned the rights to that character?
Yeah.
And I think as a kind of FU to McFarlane, he sold it to Marvel specifically.
And I'm sorry to say it. Say what you want about Todd McFarlane, about the businessman and the way he makes his comics. Say what you want, but
and how he spends his money.
Yeah.
And baseball and.
But let's compare Todd McFarlane right now to Neil Gaiman right now.
Yeah.
Who would you rather hang out with? That's all I'm going to say.
Well, anybody who is familiar with Neil Gaiman stuff going on, I think that's a clear choice. It's Todd.
Yeah. Honestly, I ran the documentary the other night on my channel, Superheroes Unmasked, Comic Book Superheroes Unmasked. And I'm not kidding you, man. I completely forgot. When I put that up there, I was checking in here and there to see where it was at. And then Neil Gaiman was in the documentary. I was like, oh, whatever. It's a documentary. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to show, as long as I'm not showing stuff about that person now, whatever. It's done. The documentary's there. I'm not going to remove it. People seem to enjoy it. So they got some Dr. Seuss going on. So it was fun. Energon Universe. So Image Comics Skybound, right? They've got the whole Energon universe now.
Now it says stories featuring G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Void Rival. Are they separate, or are they doing like another G.I. Joe Transformers thing?
I see that. I'm not quite sure because they're calling it the event of the summer. So I don't know if it's going to be like G.I. Joe Transformers or if it's going to be was it that IDW did a couple years ago, First Strike?
I think
I'm not sure if it's going to be like that, where First Strike was all the Hasbro characters. You had the Micronauts even in there. So I don't know if it's going to be something like that, or if it's going to be like you said, Transformers versus G.I. Joe. I don't know. Still to be said. We'll see. I don't know if maybe I'll pick it up, but it's limited what they give. There's your Fantastic Four #1, whatever.
The reason I'm asking is, and I still haven't seen it. People say don't watch Transformers, Beast Machines, or whatever that Rise of the Beasts.
Oh, the movie is garbage, man.
People say, yeah, that's what I've heard, but they do have that little teaser to G.I. Joe at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
I guess that's really the only part I'm interested in, because I'd love to see them try to bring back G.I. Joe, and obviously a crossover, team up, whatever, create like a Hasbro universe type thing. I don't know.
Yeah. Honestly, to what I'm hearing, like I read the first 2 issues of Transformers. I don't know why I just never read the rest of them. Not bad. The artwork is not my cup of tea, but the writing's good. And I've heard that G.I. Joe is pretty good now too underneath Image Comics' banner. So I don't know. It could be cool. I mean, this is interesting. I Hate Fairyland special. So it's the 10th anniversary of Fairyland. Scotty Young. Gotta love Scotty Young.
Oh, yeah. So not everybody's tastes, but it's like, I don't know, I'd say like a classic cartoonist.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's what the great thing about is he like I have a couple of covers of him and I love them. Like Galactus, cover of Galactus from I forgot which book it is, but Galactus holding the world like a lollipop, and it's his artwork it's niche, it's cartoony, but it's great. It's really good.
Hey, give me a sec. My cat's acting up. I think I got to give her some food.
No worries.
Be back.
Yeah, no worries.
There we go.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Background here.
So your virtual background's probably not coming back now. That's the only thing that we with the StreamYard thing. Yeah. So your background's gone. So what did we learn? We cannot turn our camera off and then come back because it's going to remove our background.
I'm sure there's a way that you could probably save it as like a preset or something, but figure that out later.
Yeah. All right. So let's go through the rest of these comic books quickly.
Maybe not.
You got it back?
Come on. How do I apply this? Okay, maybe not.
Technology is not always the greatest.
Yeah.
Because I still want to take a look at what we're looking to get, right? What we're looking for. I know you want to show off what you picked up, so let's go through the comics quickly. I know Minecraft is probably going to be hot because of the whole, what's that chicken jockey thing that everyone's crazy about right now?
Oh, have you seen those videos? People bringing live chickens into the theater. People, it just going nuts. Yeah, somebody brought a live chicken into one of the screenings. When that scene happened, apparently he threw the chicken in the air. Now, I think that's kind of cruel to the animal because it's probably freaked out by all the kids going apeshit, but funny.
Let's be honest, Spoony. There's a big gap between us millennials and Gen Alpha. Okay, let's just say that.
Yeah.
We care about animals. Gen Alpha are like, I want to be viral. So, I don't know, man. Or is it Gen Z? I always get that mixed up.
It could be both in this case. I mean, Minecraft's been out for, like 17 years or something now.
That's true. Even
like
South Park
2008.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Minecraft was even made fun of on South Park, so so that's how old Minecraft is. Anyways,
it was the password for the parental block.
That was hilarious, man.
How do you tame a horse in Minecraft?
Stan, how do you tame a horse in Minecraft? I'm not telling you, Dad. My wife hates South Park. I'm like, I love watching South Park.
When it's good, it's really funny.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of crappy episodes, but when South Park is really funny, you're right. It's nonstop laughing, honestly. So I got Power Rangers VR Troopers, which is ridiculous on Free Comic Book Day's website. They just label it as VR Troopers. But then I saw an issue. I saw the picture. It's Power Rangers Prime, but they're bringing in the VR Troopers. So that I don't like it when they do those kind of tactics. So yeah, that Speed Racer.
It could be worse. They could be bringing in the Beetleborgs.
Oh, come on, man. I'd rather see the Beetleborgs than the VR Troopers.
Look, I actually like the Beetleborgs. The thing I didn't like was that weird Elvis-looking ghost that hung out at the mansion.
You think he looks like Elvis. Do you know what? Okay, do you want to know who I personally thought he always looked like? And I've had a lot of people, I've seen this on social media too, that they agree with me.
What?
He looks like Jay Leno. Do you remember the late night talk show host, Jay Leno?
I would need to look at a photo, but yeah, actually, from what I remember, I can see that.
Let me get this up, man. Flabber versus Jay Leno. Was his name right? I think Flabber?
I think so.
I gotta pull up a photo. Yeah, there we go. I found a photo. I don't know why it's doing like that, but check this out. Why can't it there present? What is going on, man? I am still sharing apparently. There we go. There we go. Is it right here? No, it's right here. There we go. No, we're here. Where is it? Why can't I find it? There we go. Look at that. Tell me that isn't Jay Leno.
Okay.
You see it, right?
Yeah, and actually, I said Elvis. I think I was meaning to say Liberace. Because the outfit and the weird styled hair. But no, I see it now. It is Jay Leno.
Totally Jay Leno, man. Right, let me go back to. See, that's why you guys want to come to these live streams. We laugh, we have fun. Spoony and I like to
about
talk
stuff
shit.
from 30 years ago.
Exactly. That's what it's like being a millennial, right? I think we're the one generation that's nostalgic for everything. But yeah, Thundercats Powerpuff Girls #0. My wife is looking forward to that. I mean, I love Thundercats. It's one of my favorite cartoons of all time. And she loves Powerpuff Girls. So I don't know how this is going to work, but hopefully this will be a good book. And then we got
one of those things that's a surprise hit. You never know.
Yeah, it could very well be, to be quite honest with you. And then here's all the all ages free books. Some that we already saw. What's interesting is this one right here. Hulk Teach, which is a book for kids. The cover of this thing, man, is just Hulk smashing through a classroom. It's hilarious. So that could be good, right? And you've got Transformers, the worst spot ever. This looks cool though. Will Eisner.
Yeah. Do you know is who's the artist on that or anything about it?
Not really. I just know that's going to lead up to a graphic novel. Not quite sure who the artist is. I wonder if I pull up Free Comic Book Day's website. Let's see. So now they're showing the Gundam Wing comic on the Free Comic Book Day website. Should have done that earlier, man. Let's see. Where is it? Will Eisner. This is written by Stephen Weiner and illustrated by Dan Mazer. That's what it says on Free Comic Day's website.
Don't recognize.
No, me neither. Yeah. So that's what that is. And then, all right. So if we continue on, we got the Teen and the Mature books. Right off the bat, you can see there's Demona from Gargoyles. So there's Best of 2000 AD. There's going to be a Black Mirror comic book. Apparently people still watch that. There's
I think they just came out with the new season last year.
It did, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Within the last year, they did a new. I thought it was done, but I guess they just take breaks in between.
I've only ever watched the first 2 seasons of Black Mirror. I think there's 10 seasons or something now.
It's at least 7. I've watched random episodes here and there, just whatever.
I watched the USS Callister episode because I like Star Trek, and I was like, that seems interesting. But yeah, it's not one of those shows that I find it's really worth investing in, to be quite honest.
Wait, are they coming out with a Def Leppard comic book?
Yes, they are.
And it's mature rated. Okay.
Yeah, man.
That's something I'm going to want to see.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea what it's about?
If I take a look at Free Comic Book Day's website, so Def Leppard, it's a silver comic, so Def Leppard, Hysteria. Basically what it says is when Foz, the front woman of indie band Darkside, inherits her father's estate, it comes with a guitar she half remembers from her childhood. The guitar speaks to her, promising fame and success. Soon it delivers, but when Darkside's equipment is stolen at a massive music venue, just before they're set to take the stage with Def Leppard, Foz goes on the warpath to get it back. A knuckle-dusting rampage ensues, and the guitar's true history is revealed. So, yeah.
Okay.
And it is written... Yeah. It's written by Phil Collin, the guitarist from Def Leppard, so...
Interesting.
Very interesting.
I mean, for a free preview book, yeah, I would definitely grab it.
Yeah. Why not, right?
I guess I was hoping it'd be more like some of the Kiss books. I think that were put out by, what was it, Top Cow?
Kiss was released
in the 90s.
Marvel did. Oh, it was Image Comics, and then Dark Horse took over after Image Comics.
I must be thinking of the Image years. I thought it was Image Top Cow, but still under the Image thing. Top Cow was the Mark Silvestri.
I think Psycho Circus was under the Image Top Cow, if I'm not mistaken. But Psycho Circus was more like a cosmic type story. Like
yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Is it more like that, or is it more grounded? I guess.
I would think it's probably more grounded. I think when I think about it, if you want to refer to a Kiss comic, it's probably closer to the Dark Horse Kiss comic book, the one that was done by Joe Casey, who did X-Men. Because that's more like the band. They're here on Earth. They still got powers, but like it's not cosmic and kind of like Kiss 4K too, where it's like they're gods and all that. Kiss from Dark Horse just they're a band with superpowers, basically. They're basically like the X-Men and Fantastic Four, but Kiss.
Yeah.
So it's a ridiculous premise. It only lasted 13 issues. Dark Horse run. And yeah, love every one of it because I love Kiss. But yeah, so there's the rest of the books. There's going to be the Gargoyles Demona #0, so that could be very interesting. Obviously, I'm looking forward to Godzilla New Heroes, because I'm a big Godzilla fan.
I think I saw the cover of that and it looked good.
It looks cool, yeah. This one too, Mark Spears Monsters. Really interested in that. That's basically, I don't know if you've seen Mark Spears' artwork.
The name sounds familiar, but I can't picture it right now. No, I don't think so.
So Mark Spears is a guy who, it's kind of like Art Germ and Alex Ross, where his stuff is like painting.
Oh, okay.
But he does a lot of horror stuff. And I think last year, the year before, he was doing a lot of variant covers for Spawn and all the Spawn titles. So basically, this is what his stuff looks like. This is what you're looking at for like the Mark Spears stuff, right?
Oh, okay.
So and this is the book that you were getting on Free Comic Book Day, this one right here.
Oh, awesome.
His stuff is really cool. Like dig that homage to Wolverine right there, you know? I don't know, I lost it. There you go, like Infinity God Lightning, sorry. So his stuff is really cool, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, you know who else I'm just reminded of going through this? The artist's name is Ladron. He did a lot of the Planet Hulk covers. And he did covers for DC's All New Adam that they put out in like 2007 or something like that. And there were some horror elements to that stuff that was pretty cool. I'm going to see if I can find any of it now.
I mean, look, you and I, safe to say, love horror. And I think somewhere down the line on our live stream, we're going to have to we're going to have to talk about some horror on the stream. Because I find horror is a very underrated genre, especially in comic books. So that's everything we're getting. And the last thing I want to talk about here is the Valiant Zombies Resurrection. Why is it that every single comic book company, well, it's the third one now, feels the need to do a zombie comic book? You start off with Marvel Zombies, and then you had Deceased. Now we've got Valiant Zombies. Why? I love zombie movies, don't get me wrong. I'm a big, massive Romero fan.
Well,
I'm not the biggest zombie fan, but I love Romero's movies. But why do we need zombie comic books from every single company?
Well, first of all, I mean, Marvel, I think because Marvel Zombies had like 5 different series altogether, plus tie-ins to like Black Panther and some other titles. First of all, it was written by Robert Kirkman, who, if you guys don't know, the Walking Dead creator. So if anybody's going to do a zombie comic about Marvel, I mean, it's good that they chose him.
Makes sense.
What the title is actually kind of an in-joke. Apparently back in the day, people that exclusively only bought Marvel comics were called Marvel Zombies because they just brainlessly consume anything Marvel puts out. So the title itself to that series was kind of like a poke at Marvel fans, hardcore fans. But yeah, they ran that into the ground. I think the first 2 series were good. And then I think Kirkman left, and then the rest of it was forgettable.
Yeah. I remember Dollarama kept popping up at some point where there was like Marvel Zombies 2, Marvel Zombies 3. I'm like, how many of these things did they make, man?
I think they did like 4 or 5. But they also, long out of print, I have the hardcover, thankfully. Army of Darkness versus Marvel Zombies.
Oh yeah, I've never got around to that, but I heard about that one.
And
yeah.
I think essentially they set it up so that the start of the zombie plague in Marvel Zombies actually does come from like Ash and the Evil Dead. But unfortunately, they don't have the licensing rights to reprint that comic in perpetuity, so they just hint that, oh, it came from some other dimension, but
see,
it's
that's
actually
where
from the Necronomicon and the Evil Dead.
Right, but see, the Necronomicon Ex Mortis does not create... Okay, it's another conversation for another day, but the Necronomicon Ex Mortis does not create zombies.
No, but in the movies, like if somebody becomes possessed and they bite somebody else, that person also eventually kind of becomes possessed.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess I could see yeah. So yeah, so I don't know. It could be cool. It's interesting to see Valiant do their own take on zombie thing, but
yeah, I don't think their brands are really strong enough to have people like care about that. I think for a lot of people, this is their first exposure to Valiant in general.
Yeah,
I feel
and
like every couple of years they try to reboot it, bring in new writers, new artists.
Yeah.
They did that movie with Vin Diesel. Was it Bloodshot?
Yeah, man.
They've been trying to bring back those characters and they just can't.
Yeah. And they did that online series by Bat in the Sun, which I cannot fucking stand that company, Bat in the Sun. They're shitting all over Jason David Frank's legacy now. It's a little minor deeper there with that movie, that Legend of the White Dragon there.
I've heard about that. Yeah.
It's coming. We have to do another Kickstarter. I think Aaron Shanky, the guy who does Bat in the Sun, is one of the biggest frauds of our time. That's not. Anyways, I don't want to talk about that. They did that miniseries of the Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe, which was pretty good, and the casting was good. Jason David Frank was, to me, the better Bloodshot than Diesel. No offense. Besides Groot, which is fun, I don't think Vin Diesel can act to save his life.
Well, he needs to just stick to the Fast and the Furious. He works in that movie.
Oh yeah.
He's a meathead that can drive a car. That's what we want from that franchise.
But yeah, I mean, the whole thing was good until the end of the Ninjak versus the Valiant universe, where of course Mr. Aaron Shanky had to insert himself because they were planning on making another one as the big villain of the series. And I was like, the whole thing was going fine, and then when he came out, not kidding you, my wife saw it and she was like, I was like, yeah, this guy, man. He always plays Nightwing in the superhero beatdowns, and he always plays the Joker.
Yeah.
So it's like, piss off, dude. Like, nobody cares. So yeah, I don't know. Valiant has always, like, the 90s had really good stories. I don't know. Nowadays, Valiant is like, oh yeah, Valiant's still around. So
I want to see them succeed, but I feel like the only way they could do it probably is to sell off these assets to another company like IDW or somebody that knows how to market and handle properties and stuff like that. Because Valiant, I don't know who keeps investing in Valiant every couple of years, but I imagine a lot of people have lost a lot of money due to that publisher.
Yeah. So yeah, quickly, because I haven't seen it on the list, but I know this is coming. So this is the Gundam Wing comic book that's coming out, and you could just you could just see, right, by the preview here, look how thick the book is going to be.
Yeah, that looks sweet.
So I really would love to pick this one up. I love that it's actually a comic book, but it's like the artwork is comic book art, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's an anime. So this, like I said, I want that Godzilla book. I really do. But I think
for the Gundam book, is it printed as like a traditional comic, or are they printing it more like a manga where it reads right to left?
It's a traditional comic book, man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool. It's the first time I think we're going to see Gundam like that, because like right here is this is the cover. So normally if it was the other way,
yeah, you're right.
Around, Plus, it's in color. It's not in black and white like mangas are formatted. So,
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, and it's Tamashii Nations who they also do action figures as well. So
Oh,
Bandai,
they do those like $400 Gundam models or whatever.
basically those Gundam models where you're like, oh, that's so beautiful. I want that for my collection. I can't afford it because I'm broke
Yeah,
as fuck.
it's like $300 plus
That's it.
100 man hours of work getting it to that point with sanding and priming and painting and.
You know, Spoony, that's a topic that I want to cover with you. Last year when we were planning on doing our live streams and we couldn't figure this shit out, was I mean, maybe next time, maybe next time we can do another like topic style video.
Yeah.
And then keep Justice League for like the summertime when Superman comes out. But that's one thing I want to talk to you last time, and I think we should keep that for our next live stream is collecting nowadays. How the collectible market, like all these companies, are catering to the fact that we are nostalgic and we are collectors, and how like you got companies like Hot Toys and Super 7. Don't get me started. I've talked about them.
Super 7, they do the Ninja Turtles reproductions, right?
Yeah, the Ultimates. They do the Thundercats Ultimates.
I was only aware of the Turtles stuff.
Yeah.
And do they like track down the original molds or something, or
I have no clue.
or they cast a mold based off of one of the original figures, or I just know that apparently they're really good reproductions.
They're expensive though.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
The problem is that you can get an action figure of the Ninja Turtles by NECA for $40.
Yeah.
Okay, not a bad price with the fact that you're getting an action figure with interchangeable parts and accessories. Okay. The problem with Super 7, and I think I've been talking about Super 7 enough on my channel for the last 3 years that anybody who watches my videos, and I think you've seen it too. I know you don't watch all my videos, but you've seen it here and there.
No, I have. I'm more asking about it just for people who might not know about Super 7.
A NECA Ultimate figure, guys, for those of you watching, a NECA Ultimate figure, like I said, could go for $40 unless you live in Canada and you've got a Sunrise Records, and Sunrise Records is like, we're charging $70 for a NECA figure. Piss off, because you can go to GameStop and get a NECA figure for like $35. Super 7, and this is what's pissing me off because now Super 7 has the alt rights to Godzilla, and Super 7 are doing their line of the 2003 TMNT series, which is my absolute favorite TMNT series of all the series. You're looking at American USD, their figures are $75.
Oh.
For the same stuff you're getting from a NECA Ultimate figure or a McFarlane Toys figure, okay?
Yeah.
70 to 75 USD. How much do you think that costs Canadian? Bring that over here, over across the pond to Canada.
Yeah, if that's 75 USD, that's probably closer to like 90 Canadian, if not more. Easily over 100 with taxes, and hopefully they sell it in Canada, because if you have to import it on top of that, ugh.
Yep. Yep. Let me show you something here. This is ecollectibles.ca. Fantastic website. Shameless plug for them. Not a sponsor. There's one I'm sponsoring Spoony's channel though. Go subscribe to Spoony's channel. Go check him out. The link's in the description.
Each like boosts my self-esteem by 1 point. You
guys,
can make me happy.
I think it's safe to say, guys, over the past 3 years since we've been friends, you've heard me speak about Spoony enough. And I'm not going to stop speaking about Spoony. So go check out his channel. Spoony is an amazing person. He's literally my best friend. So
and I actually do plan on uploading some new content soon. Nice. I'm kind of torn because I want to have some kind of a schedule, but that means I feel like I need to bank a bunch of videos first so then I can sort of drip feed those as I'm working on other stuff, or whether I should just put it out immediately.
Take your time. Have fun with it, man, honestly.
Well, the one thing I do want to say is I've kind of been inspired by some of your videos lately where you're going through like the best covers of a certain comic book or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be making my own little video with some of the best comic book covers.
Nice. I can't wait to see that. All right, we're getting closer to the end of the live streams. I didn't realize now we're going on. It's already almost 5:15. So don't worry. We got just one last thing to talk about and touch, right? And then we're gonna get out of here for the day. But yeah, look, Spoony, for example, here are
$90. Oh my god!
Like this would be, like okay, I'm on a track to get nothing but Casey Jones figures, right? But god damn it,
I will say that does look really good.
It does. It looks amazing. But look, what I do right here, Casey Jones. Casey Jones to me is the greatest comic book vigilante of all time. And yes, I'm a fan of Daredevil. Yes, I'm a fan of the Punisher. But like, what company is this? Not sure what company this is, but you're looking at Joy Toy. You look at 65.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It looks really good too.
Yeah. And then you got NECA, the figure. This is a figure I already own in my collection. I love it. Actually, no, wait, not this one. I have the variant, the red. This is NECA.
Yeah. And I think these look better. I like that they modeled them after the comic book, the art style and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy for basically like, what is that, $15 more? You can get essentially the same figure.
Yeah. Look at the Robear from Thundercats. Like, why would you pay $90 for this shit, man? Like, why? And some can argue the fact that, oh, Super 7, they're based in California and they produce everything. Yeah, I don't care. I don't care.
No.
Bro. Like, I don't want to pay $85 for Foxy. I'd rather look at the Trick or Treat Studios website and pay like the $30 for their reproduction of Toxie. Like Krang right here. Look at this. Why do you need, why? This is my biggest pet peeve, and this is, I think, something we should talk about next time. Why? Like, look at the Thundercat. This was my biggest issue.
Holy shit.
I know you're gonna have to sell your first fucking born in order to get this Thundercats lair that's $1,500. What the fuck are you doing?
Honestly, I could see maybe somewhere between $300 to $500. I was off by about $1,000.
And that's the crazy thing, is that when you go to NECA, I don't know if they have them. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because NECA doesn't have Thundercats, but I don't know if they have the Party Wagon. Do they? Like the Playmates, the classics. Oh no, that's Playmates. I don't know, but I was seeing like the Party Wagon. Okay, I'll try to find it for the next stream. But essentially, the Party Wagon, Super 7 put out their own Party Wagon, and NECA put out their own Party Wagon. And so did Playmates, all within a span of like 2 years.
Okay. I
got the Playmates Party Wagon last year, and it cost me, I think, $35.
That's good.
It's a reproduction of the original toy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's Playmates putting it out. But Super 7's, this is where it's ridiculous. Super 7's one was close to $200.
Okay.
And NECA's one was like closer to $100. And
are they all like identical?
Pretty much. Like, I see reviews, and a lot of times people are saying Super 7's figures are pretty.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to NECA's figures are pretty, but they're also really good. That's what it is. Like, why are you going to spend $200 on the Party Wagon? Oh, because it has a retro and like a more... No, NECA does the same damn thing, and it's $100 less, man. I'm still not going to spend $100 on a Party Wagon, right? With the fact that this Party Wagon back here from HeroClix, that was originally $75 or $80, and the guy wanted to get rid of it last year when I went to Free Comic Book Day.
Nice.
And I was like, I don't want to spend $75. The guy was like, he saw I was super like disappointed, and the guy was like, what if I charge you $25? I'm like, you're gonna go that low? He goes, I've had it in the shop for like so many years. I just want to get rid of it. I'm like,
nice.
Well, then I'm taking it home with me. So
yeah,
the Party Wagon is one of my favorite. When you think of like classic rides, Party Wagon's up there, man.
I do like the blimp.
Yes,
I do like the turtle blimp, but I never had the figure. It just looked like a pain. I was afraid at some point that thing's gonna pop, and then you just got the little glider part.
Guys, for you guys watching,
between that blimp and the pizza wagon or party wagon, they had some
Oh
classic
yeah.
vehicles.
Oh yeah. For those of you guys who are tuning in, I highly recommend checking out on Spoony's channel his Ninja Turtles collection video he did a couple years back. Even my jaw dropped. I was like, "Bro, your collection is so cool."
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, I texted Spoony. I was like, "Can I have some of your toys?" But of course, my wife would probably be there, like, "Hey, you got too many Turtles toys. Like, calm down." So that brings me to I don't know. We had 4 people watching. Now we're down back to 1. That's
Oh wow.
right. So that brings me to what are we looking for this year? I like to bring this as a reference. Like, I showed you the party wagon. I got that last year. I got the little Hero Clicks Casey Jones last year. And these two, like, I was super hyped up. I was like, I'm ready to go out and get these because I knew the variant red shirt was coming out. And this guy especially, the Jack Kirby figure, I was excited. They were like, oh, it's coming out. But I found out these were only like released in the United States first when they came out, which really sucks, and they were Target exclusives. Eventually, I got this from GameStop because of credit, and I got this on Amazon from a gift card from my work. So these came later after Free Comic Book Day. So I was kind of sad because like none of those figures. I mean, like I got Donatello Micro Series #1, which was cool. I took that as a consolation prize because that introduced Jack Kirby into that book.
Mm-hmm. I love that issue.
Yeah.
It's
a great book, yeah.
By the way, I think the cover to that one is one of the best covers of all time. I've included that in my list.
Nice.
Everything about that one issue I thought was just awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I love the idea.
Fan.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you. I agree. So I asked my wife if my wife were to tell you, yes, he was going out there. Apart from the comics, that's what he was looking for. Okay, couldn't find them, whatever. But again, the 2 comic book shops, like my comic book shop, don't really sell. Check Swing doesn't sell action figures. They got the Hero Clicks and stuff, so I might take a look at that.
Well, they got gaming stuff.
Pardon?
So gaming stuff.
Gaming stuff and comic books, and the other shop that we went to last year, Menard, which I found out last month are closed down. Oh well, so sad, too bad. That's where I was only going there honestly to find the old Ninja Turtles comics. But they don't sell toys either. They had gaming stuff and Hero Clicks. But I'm going to Crossover Comics tomorrow morning, and they sell action figures in-house. They sell a lot of Funko Pops, but they sell statues, they sell action figures, and I think I've seen some of the NECA Turtle stuff up there. So my never-ending what I'm searching for this year, I made a whole video about it back in January, is a thank you for 800 subscribers. By the way, thank you, whoever's watching. I'm at 910 now, so thank you. My success is Spoonie's success because I incorporate Spoonie into my channel, so it's our success, man. Yeah, I'm on my ongoing hunt to find Burnt Spawn by McFarlane Toys.
Yeah.
97 movie and those Kiss Ultra action figures, the first ones released by McFarlane Toys. So that's my never-ending hunt. That's what I'm primarily searching for, and that's why I haven't really bought any action figures except like I got this guy here because he was on special, the Spawn McFarlane 2-pack. This thing was originally $80 and I got off on Amazon for 30, so 30 or 25, so it's a really good deal. But that's the only figure I bought myself recently. The last time I can't recall, I think it was the Rocky figures last year that I bought myself.
Mm-hmm.
I don't buy too many. I more buy comic books because there's a lot of stuff in my collection. But I think I saw some NECA Turtles last time I went to them, and so I'm hoping if I go tomorrow, these are 2 things that I'm looking at because they're having like a 30% store-wide sale. So it does help, right? It takes off quite some money.
Yeah.
And so before I look at one of the things I want to look at, I'd like to find this if I can find that tomorrow. Look at that figure.
Oh wow.
How cool is that? We know that McFarlane Toys are losing the. I don't know if you know that, but McFarlane is losing the DC license. It's going back to Mattel.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah. So I do have a couple of the DC McFarlane toys. Like I've got John Constantine. I've got the 2 original Batmans that he put out from issue number 1000 of Detective and Batman the Animated Series Batman. Nice. And I got Steel. Steel that's one thing I was going to say before. I would like to see collected editions of Steel. I don't like Superman. I'm not going to keep saying that, but I do love Supergirl, and I do love Steel. I'd love to see Steel, like the Death of Superman, the Doomsday. I love that story, and that's what brought me into Steel. I was like, okay, this is a great character. So I'd like to see collected editions of that. But yeah, I'd like to find this Dr. Fate figure. I saw Review Spot review him last night, and I was like, holy crap, this thing is beautiful. The only thing that sucks is that kind of lacking on the accessories side. So
does he have changeable hands, or is it just the one set?
Just the one set. And that's what Review Spot pointed out in his review yesterday. As I was watching it with my wife, I was like, he's got no review, like he's got no accessories, no hands. Like, come on, what the hell? And no kidding, no word of a lie, as soon as I said that in the video, Spot said the same thing. He's like, it would be nice to see some interchangeable hands. I'm like, yeah. See? But the other problem too with this Dr. Fate figures, I was looking at the price online.
What do they want?
$45 Canadian, like on most websites. So I'm like, okay, maybe that's not feasible. So whatever. But I believe I saw some of these last time I was at Crossover. I don't know. I would need to see. I need to see, but I'd like to see if they have this. Because I'm on a never-ending journey to find Casey Jones figures for my collection. And this is just a really cool, like, I don't have, I've got the original Casey Jones, unfortunately. Unlike you, my Casey Jones from Playmates back in the 80s does not have any of his accessories.
I think the figures themselves look really good, but whoever drew those pictures on the front is, I don't know, they look...
I know.
What's going on with the face of that foot soldier?
I don't know, man. Did you ever watch my videos of the best action Turtles figures that I reviewed? The artwork on those boxes too look like this. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's Nickelodeon who's providing this brand new artwork, but bro. Hey, we got a comment. Original Origin says, "Hey Boomer, I've been geeking out on the docs you've posted. That Image Comics documentary rocks." Right, I agree. So much damage, how Image Comics changed the world is a fun documentary. I think it's also an essential documentary too if you want to watch how those guys created Image Comics. And yeah, that was a lot of fun to do for Free Comic Day this week. It was my gift for you guys. So I'm glad you enjoyed that original Origin.
I like the Superheroes Unmasked?
Yeah, that was fun.
Channel one.
Yeah, that was fun. One that gets me every time though was the Michael Turner documentary though. Like, pulls a little bit of my heartstrings. Like I said when I posted them, Michael Turner and Jack Kirby are the reasons why I draw. Those are my inspirations to draw. So, so yeah, so that's really like if I'm going to Crossover Comics, and I really don't know if they have this, but I know they have action figures. So I'd like to see. 2 years ago when I went, I saw that they had the Invincible figures from Diamond Select. Not Diamond Distributions, Diamond Select. I should have pulled the trigger because they had Omni-Man, they have Invincible and Adam Eve, and it was like 30% off of the $30 price tag. I should have pulled the damn trigger, but I was like, we're going to so many comic book shops. And I ended up buying the NECA Ultimate movie Casey Jones from the TMNT movie. So that was a good score at least.
Nice.
So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Action figures. Comic books. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to keep it simple. I saw the Ultimate Spider-Man #1 on the wall at Chuck's Wing. We're talking about the Ultimate Spider-Man from 2001, right? The one that the one that kind of influenced the Tobey Maguire movie. $20 up on the wall. So it's not
bad.
Exactly. It's not mint condition, but I think it's very fine or close to near mint. It's $20. Really not bad. So I might grab that, and I want to browse the back bins because after seeing Sonic the Hedgehog 3 last weekend, I love that movie. It's so good.
Is it? I still have to see that one.
Did you see the first two?
I saw the first one. I have part 2. I just never got around to watching it yet. I also don't know if I have any interest in watching the Knuckles TV show.
No, me neither. But Sonic 3 was very good. Shadow the Hedgehog's in it. Keanu Reeves does his voice. And I love Keanu Reeves. I like to say this, that I don't like Keanu Reeves movies. Except for The Matrix. I like the first Matrix movie.
I like the first John Wick. The second one's pretty good. You know, they're
Hey,
coming out
last
with
thing,
the
I've never
fifth
seen
one
the John
now.
Wick movies.
They're coming out with the fifth John Wick movie now. Wick is pain.
I've never seen any of the John Wick movies.
Okay, the first one I thought was kind of funny. The idea is this guy was like the world's greatest assassin. He retired because he fell in love, but his wife died from cancer, and she said, "So you're not lonely? I got you this puppy because when I'm gone, you're gonna need something." And then there's a random home invasion. They kill his dog, and then they wake him up, and he goes on like a murder spree. And they're like, "Did you know who this guy was? You're dead."
Yeah, now they like created their whole world with it. Like even my favorite martial artist is getting his own spin-off from the series Donnie Yen. So it's like, I want to watch it because of Donnie Yen. It's a weird thing to say, I know. But
I've loved that guy ever since Blade 2.
That's true. Donnie Yen was in Blade 2, right? He was one of the vampires. That's right, bro. I didn't know you were a Donnie Yen fan. Talk about this stuff, man.
There's so much stuff to talk about. So we got a lot of ideas for future streams and stuff.
You know what they say, right? Even if you've known somebody for a long time, there's still new things that you learn about them.
Yep.
So, like I said, I consider you my best friend, and we're still learning things about each other, which is really awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that book, and like I said, I love the Sonic 3. I love Sonic 3, and I read DC Sonic today, and I loved it. So I think I want to kind of browse the back bins. I got a hankering to find some of the obviously I'm looking for the Transformers still, like those old Transformers books.
Yeah.
Old Fantastic Four books, but I got a hankering to find the old Archie Sonic comics, man. Those ones that we grew up with in the 90s. Like, I love those comics. They're so like childish, except for like when they got to like the late 90s when they're like, we're gonna start making it a little dark, when they brought Knuckles in.
I remember when they brought in Knuckles, and me and my friends at the time were just losing it. Like, oh my god, they're finally bringing Knuckles. Because at the time, Knuckles was only in Sonic 3.
Yeah.
There wasn't much exposure for him, so it was like we ate up anything that came out. Now he's everywhere, so it's not as special.
No. But I think that's why I want to kind of go back and see if they have those old Sonic, because it's like a really gold mine in Checkswing. I really don't know what they have, and every time I browse, I'm like, fuck, they have that? That's cool. Like, I found the Steel comics, like I said, right? And I was like, that's really neat.
Nice.
So, yeah. What are you looking for? What are you looking for, Spoony?
For free comic book day?
Free comic book day or beyond that. Because like I said, like I'm still looking for the Kiss and the Spawn figure. But tomorrow specifically, maybe one of those two figures and those books. That's what I'm looking for. Tomorrow, beyond tomorrow, what you looking for?
Mostly collections of stuff. So I mentioned to you, I've been reading mostly through the New 52 through the dollar store. I've been able to get a lot of the sort of bigger titles for dirt cheap. So I've been reading through that stuff, and it's got me interested in reading more. Like especially read the Scott Snyder Batman, then went right into Dark Knight's Metal, and I want to read Death Metal, but there's all this stuff between Metal and Death Metal. But the first omnibus came out, the second one later this year. Scott Snyder Justice League omnibus that starts with his everything he wrote right after Dark Knight's Metal, all the way up to Death Metal. So all the different Justice League books he wrote, all the different little specials and spin-offs, the crossovers with Aquaman, it's all going to be collected. So financially, it just makes the most sense to buy one book versus going out and tracking down like 6 or 7 books that are now at this point harder to find, out of print. So you have to scour eBay for them.
That's fair.
I want to get caught up on that because after reading Batman, I'm loving Scott Snyder's stuff. Also, he co-wrote it with James Tynion, who he wrote a lot of the New 52 Batman stuff with, like on the Batman Eternal, the weekly series that they did. And I think some of the Detective Comics tie-ins to stuff he was doing.
Okay.
So he's a pretty good writer too. So eager to pick that up, but I think I saw on eBay. Okay, the cover price is never on that stuff is never really what you pay. Cover price on that it's like 195 Canadian, but I think I've seen it about 160.
Okay.
But the prices on these things can fluctuate wildly,
Yeah.
and I mean it could go down to about $100 within a couple months. It's hard to say, but yeah, I want to get these things so I can basically catch up on like 5 years worth of Scott Snyder
Yeah.
stories in 2 books.
But I
Now,
mean, that makes sense though.
these books are massive. They're like 1,600 pages. They weigh like 10 pounds each. But I mean, you get like 4 years worth of stories in there. So good value, I guess.
Yeah, it's a better value. 1,600 pages for $160 versus 160 pieces for $1,500.
Yeah.
Going back to that damn Thundercats playset.
I cannot believe, like, I would expect that as some like ridiculous overpriced eBay listing, not an official on-site store listing.
You want to see something? You want to see something crazy, ridiculous? Have you seen this? Have you seen this? This whole Kickstarter for the Transformers compendium coming out?
No, what do they want?
So they reached a goal of 4 million. Okay, over $4 million. So it's completely funded, but this is the crazy part. Vanessa was like, "Oh, that could be really interesting. Maybe if that's something for Christmas time, right? Because we can get each other one big Christmas present." I was like, "That would be interesting. I love Transformers, and I'm collecting the old books." This thing here, okay, has 2 different prices. There's the regular price, and then there's the price itself, and there's the shipping price. That's where it's scary. I'm scrolling down because I'm not sure where.
What do you mean shipping price? Like as opposed to buying it at your local store?
Oh no, you can only get it. You can only get it from Kickstarter, it seems.
Huh.
So where are the damn prices? Okay, it's nice. We're showing all this stuff about the Transformers. I'm glad. No, these are just the backing prices. Where did I see it? Hang on a second. Oh, there's so much shit in here, man. Okay. So here, what the compendium, you get 2 different versions if you want, right? So you've got the red like that. It's $150 for the compendium. Fine. Then you've got this one here that's $300. So this is just basic. Then you got a big box set here, which is $300, depending if you want Autobots or Decepticons. Then you can add extras. So if you want the big box, that's $300, right? Then you can add extras, $25, $10, that's $35. Now you're at $40, $45, $55. You know, it's going up.
They're nickel and diming you for everything.
Yeah, so you're looking at maybe said and done all this stuff. If you want to add all the add-ons, you're maybe at $450. Okay. Shipping. Look at the damn shipping.
What the hell?
This is for Canada. So already, if you want all that big box, the big $300 box, which would be the one to get, plus all the add-ons, $450 plus $330.
And are these in Canadian dollars or these are US dollar listings?
This is the chart of the different countries.
So that $330 would be $330 Canadian dollars.
Yeah.
Oh.
Whereas $150.
Well, I guess that's slightly better than $330 American.
Yeah.
But no, you figure like I kickstarted this thing and I'm paying for it. The least you could do is cover the shipping.
Yep. So like, do you really want to spend $800 on this? Like close to $1,000?
Nope.
I get it. They're doing this for fans and like Skybound Image Comics. Fine. It's collecting everything from all the old Marvel run to all the UK comics as well. That's too much, man. Really too much, in my opinion. So I think that's a good place to end it. I mean, unless you want to mention some other stuff you were looking for.
No, we could save it for the next time. I think I already sort of talked about Free Comic Book Day. I'd like to get the DC one and some of the others like the Transformers and stuff, but as you mentioned, it might be down to availability, what the store actually ordered, or what they actually have left in stock. So
yeah,
I'll at least try to get like an actual book or something, so it's worth my time to go out.
Yeah.
But hopefully I can get the stuff that I'm looking for.
Me too. Same. So me quickly, I'm I'm in Montreal. I'm going to Crossover Comics tomorrow morning, and then I'm going to Check Swing in the afternoon. Whereabouts are you going for Free Comic Book Day tomorrow?
I've got there's a couple stores nearby me. One of them is kind of a weird situation to explain. The guy was having some issues with, I think, the building that he was renting the space in. And the guy was like a slumlord, and he didn't want to do certain repairs. And the guy was having so he temporarily closed and kind of switched to a mail order business for a minute, just to continue to get books out to his customers. I mean, this store survived COVID, so
okay.
That's a lot of businesses failed. The fact that he's a comic book store and he managed to stay open through that and after it, that's impressive. Anyways, it looks like I saw on Facebook he's reopened, so I've got to go give him my money, give him my business. Why not?
Nice. Sweet. Alrighty, guys. Well, I think we're down to no more viewers. I think people like, you guys are going way too long. Anyways, have fun. For those who probably going to watch the replay, if they do after, have a fun Free Comic Book Day. Let us know what you guys picked up. And debating. Maybe we could post, but maybe if you want, we'll see. Maybe every 2 weeks, maybe every month, we'll do the live stream. This is awesome. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was.
I want to do this again, definitely. Now the fact that we know what we're doing.
Yeah, it helps a lot actually having done this before.
Yeah. Perfect. Alrighty, I'm gonna get back to my life. I'll let you get back to your life.
All right.
Alrighty, thank you, Spoony, and thank you everybody for watching. If you did.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.